All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It looks like we're live. Before we get into NFL, just talk about the baseball game. Just so you guys, in case you missed it, the notes are posted for baseball on the Patreon wall. So are the notes for NHL. So far, one game in the books for NHL that looked good. St. Louis looked like they were ripe for the loss today. I thought they might lose in overtime, but pretty sure they lost in regulation. Let me see. And I guess just to recap what happened in NHL so far, I thought the Blues might go down to 3-1-4 for that little pie riddle. They love the pie riddles in sports. Instead, they became 3-2-3. Either way, they still lose. The New Jersey game, when I first looked at this, I was thinking, Canucks can fall to 4-3. New Jersey's 43 in the most pure cipher. They can stay on 8 points on the 19th. And I was going to lean that way, but then I saw that the Devils, had they lost, their home record would have synced up perfectly with the word Vancouver. Anyway, it's a reminder that when it comes to overall records versus home records, the overall records usually do trump. So the Canucks falling to 4-3 in New Jersey and staying on 8 points on the 19th makes a lot of sense. Go over the NHL notes because there's definitely some good games on the board today. And one of them's already in. So anyway, thought myself out of the Devils game. But the notes are posted. I put up the college football notes last night. I didn't see anything that was real crucial for Illinois upsetting Wisconsin. There just wasn't a lot overall in that game looking at it. It was Lovie Smith's 43rd game. Football's 43. Badgers is 43. There might have been some stat out there about Illinois versus ranked opponents all time, but that would have been an awesome one to get. But I didn't see anything super convincing one way or the other. Wisconsin was a monster favorite. So anyway, the notes are all up on the Patreon wall. Hockey's been good. It was another good day of hockey yesterday. And keep it rolling with hockey. I like hockey a lot because not only do you get wins and losses, but you get points. And when you get things lining up with the points and the wins and losses, those games are usually pretty golden. So somebody just phoned in right before I started the live stream, and I want to check something out that they just told me about tonight's postseason game. Pulling up Chad Green. Let me see. How can I verify this? Somebody just called and told me that the Yankees are 11-4 when Chad Green starts this year. So I want to see. Did he really have that many starts? 1, 2, whoops. Hold on, hitting the wrong, okay. All right, whoops, hitting all the wrong buttons here. Okay, game start. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Looks like he had 14 starts during the regular season. All right, so Yankees lost this game. I want to verify that this is true, what the person just called me with, because if it's true, that could be a good sign. If the Yankees are 11-4 when he starts this year, if they lost, 11-5, like 115th World Series. Hold on, though. So 0-1, 0-2, 1-2, 1-3, 2-3, 2-4, 3-4, 4-4, 5-4, 6-4, 7-4, 8-4, 9-4, 10-4, 11-4. Okay, I just counted. I guess that was 11-4 in the regular season. Do it one more time to be sure. Okay, 1-0. 2. Why is it doing that? What in the world? Okay, normally it doesn't do that. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. Try this again. 1-0. Okay, it's going to drive me nuts. Why is it doing that? 1-0. What's going on? Normally it lets you just click boxes and that doesn't just highlight them all. I don't know what's up with that. 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, 8-0, 9-0. Got off to a really good start. 9-1, 10-1, 10-2, 11-2, 11-3, 11-4. Okay, so it was 11-4 in the regular season. Let me just see. Has he started anything in the postseason? I don't think so, but let's double check. Postseason 2019. All right, so the Yankees are 11-4 when he starts this year. Okay, so that is a good little stat there. All right. Yankees are 11-4 when Chad Green starts in 2019, 115th World Series. Okay, just real quick for baseball, just things that stand out about this game. If the Yankees lost, they'd be 5-8 versus the Astros for the year. Bush is 58. It's the Astros' 58th season as well. We just got the 4-1 score. We thought we might see a 4-1 score yesterday. That is what the score was. 322 days after the death of number 41, Bush. Bullpens equals 43 and 115 as well. I thought that was interesting. Battle of the Bullpens. This could be the game that it sets the World Series. The Astros' next postseason win is 46. Houston, Texas, 46. Next loss is 54. Baseball, 54. You know, if the Astros didn't lose this game and they lost the World Series, they'd get to 57 postseason losses, and World Series is 57. I'll put that note here. If Astros don't lose today and lose World Series, they'll have 57 postseason losses. World Series equals 57. Okay, Yankees are 5-8 versus the Astros in the postseason. There wasn't anything that really screamed out about Chad Green's stats, but this is a good one about what the Yankees are when he starts this year. Again, if they do lose today, they'll be 11-5 in games where Chad Green starts. That's if the Yankees lose. And Peacock, he's 7-6 for the entire season. If he lost, he would be 7-7. Houston is 77. He's 0-2 versus the Yankees in his career. If he got the win, he'd be 1-2. Yankees 37, the 12th prime. If Aaron Boone lost today, he'd be 7-7 in the postseason. The Yankees manager, Houston 77. And for A.J. Hinch, this is his 43rd postseason game. Again, Astros is 43. New York Yankees is 191, the 43rd prime. If the Astros won, they would become 5-1 at home in the postseason for this year. All right, in 2019. Houston Astros is 51, and if the Astros do win and become 5-1 at home, they'll advance to face the Nationals, who are in their 51st season. Caller?
What's going on, Zach? How you feeling?
Doing all right, man. How are you?
Rolling.
That's good.
Hey, what I wanted to ask you about this Houston picture. I haven't seen their name all day. So, yep, I got my 50 last night. Thank you, Lisa. I I never seen that picture before, but what I was saying is, do you think Cole gonna come in? Like, if he get blowed up, or do you see Cole coming in, or you think they saving him for Game 7?
I think they'd save him for Game 7 because what they said they're going to do is a battle of the bullpens. So I think they're going with all their middle relievers.
Oh, okay. Say no more then. I'd rather just lay low, and if it's a Game 7, I'll slam Houston.
Okay. All right. Sounds good, man.
All right. Say no more. Appreciate that info.
All right. Yeah. Welcome. Take care.
All right.
Yeah. If it does go to Game 7, which is possible because both teams have the 43 connection, you'd get a 4-3 series. Remember, Garrett Cole would be going for his 20th straight win, and Astros is 20. Bullpens does equal 115 if the battle of the bullpens is an indicator that this is going to set the World Series. They do like Sunday Night Baseball, though, don't they? But it does jump out that the Astros could become 5-1 at home. You know, the one thing I'd have to say is if the Astros did lose today, you would have to think about it tomorrow because if they lost 2 games in a row, they would become 4-3 at home, and both teams do have that 43 connection. Even though it does look like a Nationals-Astros World Series is destined at this point, what we speculated on just before the postseason began, don't forget the Yankees did have a lot of riddles this year that pointed right to the start date of the World Series. But then again, you know, St. Louis, their manager had a perfect riddle with the start date of the World Series too. Turns out St. Louis was just a part of the riddle for the NLCS. The Yankees are 2-1 away in the postseason. If they won, they would be 3-1 away. Houston's 31. So I'd have to say that probably the best stat out of all these stats is the fact that Chad Green, the Yankees are 11-4 when he starts this year because that 115, it makes sense. And again, bullpens equals 115. That's what they're calling this, the battle of the bullpens today. So, all right. And I guess just real quick before we jump into football. Again, scan NHL. The Bruins and Maple Leafs, you know, the numbers look pretty good in this one. Again, the notes are up on the Patreon page if you want to go over it. The Avalanche and Lightning game's a little bit more of a teeter-totter. The Stars and Flyers game, there'll be a whole lot of 7s if the Flyers pull it out. Golden Knights and Penguins, not a lot to go off of. If the Penguins do win, though, they'll be 5-2 at home to start their 52nd season, and Vegas would fall to 5-4. Vegas does equal 54. I suspect Vegas will split their next 2 games to get to 6-4. Golden Knights is 64. We'll take it day by day, though. I'll put out hockey notes tomorrow, too. The best clue in this Islanders-Blue Jackets game is that the Islanders can improve to 5-3. Columbus Blue Jackets is 53. I always like a points riddle there, and the points riddle is unclear in that game. Caller?
Hey, Zach. Just a couple of things on the baseball game tonight. One, New York and Game 6 both align in all 4 ciphers. They don't have direct alignment between the ciphers, but all 4 numbers overlap.
New York in Game 6, I know that they both have that 33 connection, but you're saying all 4 ciphers, huh?
All 4 numbers line up.
Yeah, that's very possible. It would even it up. Hold on, I'm just going to type it right. Yeah, make it 3-3 in Game 6. Okay, yeah. So it's I see that. Yeah, you get all 4 of the same numbers, just reverse and forward.
All 4 of the same numbers, they just don't match cipher to cipher.
Right. Yeah, I got you.
And then the other thing is the Yankees are 5-8, right, all time in postseason against the Astros.
That's right.
And they can become 6-8 on a 68 numerology day.
That is true. It is 68-day numerology. So. Yeah, it's possible.
So I think we're going to see a Game 7. I think that's why it started with 7-0 in the first game, and then we got 3-2 in the second game to tell us we were coming back out of New York into Houston 3-2.
It's very possible. Again, New York Yankees equals 70. So does Astros. That first game 7-0.
Right.
So. Yeah, I hear that.
Just some interesting stuff.
All right. Yeah, appreciate it, man.
I think it'd be great to take a look sometime and see what their history is like in Game 6s with that kind of alignment.
Oh, Yankees all-time
in
Game 6. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to find that stat. They've got so many postseason games, but that would be interesting.
I'll let you go. There's a lot of stuff to go through tonight.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. Again, there's some better games on the board than the postseason game. So both teams do have that 43 connection. Again, that would be the reason for it to go Game 7. The again, hockey game, Columbus Blue Jackets 53, Islanders underdogs on the road. If Blue Jackets lost in OT, they'd be on 8 points on the 19th. If the Islanders lost, they'd stay on the 8. Caller?
Hey, in reference to this, the baseball game, Game 6, they were talking about Peacock and an article on the app, and they were saying that they were talking about the Senators game, or the National Senators from 1924. They brought up the Washington Senators basically from 1924 World Series. So I thought that was kind of intriguing, considering whoever wins this series is going to play the Washington, and saying that Peacock hasn't done something like that since 1924, basically, because he's going to start the game with no rest, 0 days rest, but he only pitched 1 inning though, the previous game.
Right.
So I just thought that was kind of intriguing that they're bringing up the Washington Senators from 1924 World Series, and I saw the relevance there with Washington being in the World Series and stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to say that.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you. Okay. I meant to put this in the notes too. Okay, hold on. Let me fix this. Okay, so the Senators, pretty big underdogs on the road. What stands out about this game, though, if the Senators did upset, if the Coyotes win, who are the favorites, they'll be 4-2 in the win and loss column. Arizona is 42, so that's right there. But this is the 40th game, Coyotes' 40th season. The Coyotes are 19-18 versus the Senators. If they lost, they would be 19-19 on the 19th. If the Senators lose, they'll stay on 40 points in the 40th game. We've seen a lot of teams doing that, matching the point total for the total game number where it's happened. If the Senators lost in overtime, they'd get 1 point. They'd have 41 points on the 41-date numerology. But I do see a potential narrative for a Senators upset here. It's that they become 1-1-1 away if they won. Senators is 1-11. And if the Coyotes lost in overtime, they'd have to lose in overtime. They'd be 2-1-1, like 2-11 the 47th prime, and Ottawa Senators is 47. If the Coyotes lost in regulation, they would be 3-3, and they play New York next. Or if they lost in overtime, they'd have a chance to fall to 3-3 versus New York 33. So I wouldn't go big on the Senators because they don't look very good, but I'd consider using them as a parlay multiplier just because they'd be a nice payout. They got a shot through the home and away records for both teams. But like I said a minute ago, usually the overall record trumps, but it does line up nicely on both sides with the home and away record. And Panthers and Predators. Yeah, there's nothing real clear in this game. Nashville's a pretty big favorite at home. If Nashville did lose, they would be 4-4. Predators is 44 in the most pure cipher, and that would keep them on 8 points on the 19th. You could consider using the Panthers as a parlay multiplier as well. But again, there's better games up on the board. If Calgary wins tonight, they'd be 5-3. Los Angeles 53. But this Sabres and Sharks game, if the Sharks win, they'll be 4-4. Sabres is 44. And if the Sharks win, they'll get their 8 points on the 19th. 19 the 8th prime, and Sabres is also 19. So that's a nice little riddle. And again, if you're real selective and just take the best games, you'll definitely hit at the highest percentages. So NHL notes are up. I just wanted to make sure everyone's aware of all these other games that we're talking about. And here, let me just go back and make this point that the caller was said in the baseball notes too. Game 6, or hold on. New York equals 33, 39, 78, 111. It is true. So, yeah, I won't be shocked either way with tonight's baseball game. Okay, let's get to football here. Color?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
What's up, man?
Just got some quick stuff for you for the baseball. So as you probably know, this is the 17th trip to the ALCS for the Yankees. They previously made.
Wait, hold on.
Advance.
Wait, it's 17th trip to the ALCS or the Yankees? They got a lot more than that.
No, it says 17.
Well, they got 27 World Series wins, and they haven't won every time.
How would that make sense? Yeah, I don't know. This was released by the Yankees media guy, too. That's kind of retarded. Sorry about that, Zach.
Well, let's hear what it says anyway. They could be giving us a clue, but it doesn't make sense.
Okay, so they say they trail a 3-2 in best-of-7 series for the 10th time in franchise history, and they're 6-3 in Game 6s when down 3-2.
Okay, 6-3.
And it says they've come back to win the series twice.
Today leaves 73 days left in the year.
Okay.
Well, but I wonder what year he's going back to say 17 ALCSs.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a link. There's a click here. But yeah, it was provided by the Yankees postseason media guy earlier today. I don't know why they put that in there, but they got to be counting it from some specific date if they put 17. I don't know why.
Right, it's got to be an X amount of years, so...
I guess they specifically cut it short for some strange reason. Maybe they're trying to say something.
Unless back in the day it wasn't called the ALCS. Let me see. When was the first ALCS? Maybe it used to have a different name.
Yeah, you might be right.
October 4th, 1969. So it was something else. So maybe it is their 17th ALCS then. But I wonder what they used to call it.
Okay.
So that's probably right. They've probably been in 17 since 1969.
And so about that 17, they're saying, so this is the 17th time, but they've advanced 11 of the previous 16 times.
How many?
11 out of 16.
Wait a minute. I thought there were 17, though.
Yeah, this is the 17th time that.
Duh. So, okay.
Previous, they've advanced 11.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and there was one more other thing, too. Just for this year, this is the second elimination game that the Yankees are facing, and they're 1-0 in 2019. Obviously, they could get that 1-1. Astros is also 20, so that could go either way.
Right. Okay. All right.
That was it.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right.
I'm just seeing how many days it is from Garrett Cole's birthday to tomorrow, because he'd be pitching tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be Garrett Cole's 43rd day of his age. And, the Astros is 43, New York Yankees is 191, the 43rd prime. Hold on, let me just punch this in there, too. And then they get an extra day of baseball. Because if the Yankees did close it up today, then you got a better part of a week gap before they start the World Series. All right, hold on. So Yankees could win 7 out of 3 in Game 6 in ALCS history. Or no, they could improve to 7-3. And today does leave 73 days left in the year. Where did I put that at? Yankees can improve to 7-3 in ALCS Game 6 history with a win. Put this note here. Tomorrow will be Garrett Cole's 43rd day of his age. He would pitch in Game 7. Astros equals 43. New York Yankees equals 191 43rd prime. So that stands out, doesn't it? Almost feels like he's supposed to be on the mound for that. But I'm still the person who just called me right before the show started with that stat about how Yankees could become 11-5 with a loss when Chad Green starts this year, which we just verified. That stands out too. So probably lay off on baseball. Okay. Well, at least we got some good information out there, some additional facts. So let's talk football. All right, remember, the Chiefs beat the Broncos. The Chiefs have now won 8 straight against the Broncos. Those streaks of 8 have been money in the bank this year. Caller?
Hey, Bear.
Yeah?
I want to give you a little lesson on the history of baseball and the pennant, Before 1969, there was no championship game. It used to be just whoever ended the season with the most wins or the best win-loss records won the pennant. So there was no playoff. And then in 1969, the league split into 2 divisions. So the winner of each division would play in the American League Championship Series and the National League Championship Series. So before 1969, there was no playoff. There was just a World Series.
Got it. That makes sense. And yeah, we just looked it up. It said the first ALCS was 1969. So yeah, sounds correct.
All right, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, see you.
Yep.
Okay. So you got another streak of 8. And the lesson to take from that is we were just wondering because the Chiefs' winning streak started on the 17th of September in 2015, and this game was on the 17th, which is the 7th prime. Could the streak actually be stopped at 7, even though 8's been the number this year? So if we run into that scenario again, just remember that 8 is what powered through. And the thing we talked about at the beginning of the week that I really liked was how Mahomes could become 10-3 away because Broncos is 103, and we'd already seen that pattern this year with the Broncos. Caller?
Yeah, what's going on, Zach? I hate to, I know you're finna get on this football, but I was going back to baseball because, man, I wanted to play Philly tonight in hockey, but it's almost 90% on Philly. So let me just ask you a question about it. They being October 19th. Kind of like 9-1-1. Do you think that favor is good for the Yankees or bad? And I wanted to see, could you go back to today? You know how we used to do today's in history on this date?
Oh, for baseball?
Yeah, I wanted to see if you could look up for October 19th by being 9-1-1. Could you look up this date and see what the Yankees record is on this date on October 19th? I don't know if it was a way to do it though, because it's like it's not a regular season. So.
Well, it'll show.
But I was going. Sorry.
I'm looking right now on this date for these teams. It doesn't show anything in that stat for either team on this date, so it's possible that they've never played on this day before. Either that or this stat's just not tracking it on this date for the postseason.
Okay, yeah. Because I didn't think about that yesterday. Like, how can't the Yankees, even if they do go home today, how could they not play on October 19th? You know what I mean?
Sure, 119, okay.
Right. But I was just thinking, do you think that favors for anybody today by being October 19th with the 119?
Well, I just thought about something else. We just saw that tomorrow's Garrett Cole's 43rd day of his age, and Astros is 43. Tomorrow is also the 20th, and Astros is 20 as well, and he'd be going for his 20th straight win. So.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna try the Yankees then. I'm just going to do it. Not too big, but I'm gonna ride with the Yankees tonight. I do feel like it's a Game 7 because that's the narrative that gives Washington Nationals a great chance to beat the Houston Astros.
Sure, if the Astros come in,
that'll be the story. Oh, Houston was tired and Washington was well rested. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll let you get back to football.
All right, man. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, thanks.
No problem.
All right, see you. All right. Yeah, let me make sure. Garrett Cole, that's the story, right? That he's won 19 straight? Cole pitched 7 shutout innings against the Yankees. innings against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium to win his 19th straight decision. Yes, it is. All right, let me just plug that in here for the baseball notes, too, where I just said that thing. Because wouldn't that just be so in your face? Cole winning his 20th straight on the 20th? Where did I put it at? Got too many things up here. Okay, where did I put the stat at? Cole would be going for his 20th straight win on the 20th of October. Astros equals 20. So, I mean, yeah, Cole's 43rd day of his age. I mean, does seem like they might have that one planned, ready to go. Just the one stat to think about for Houston is, again, if Chad Green lost, Yankees would be 11-5 when he's the starter. So seems like how every game is with this Astros-Yankees series is like, which one is it? All right, but anyway, the point I was making about Chiefs and Broncos is also the first two touchdowns of the game. Number 28 scored the first touchdown of the game for the Broncos. 28's the 7th triangular number. And then number 17 scored the first touchdown for the Chiefs. 17's the 7th prime number. So perhaps 28 and 17 are great indicator numbers this week. It's week 7. And Andy Reid became the 7th coach all-time to win his 200th regular season game. They put up that stat right at the end when the Chiefs won. So, I wish I had that one before the game. Andy Reid trying to be the 7th coach to 200 wins. And he got his 70th win with the Chiefs. That was another nice stat that Andy Reid had. He got his 70th win with Kansas City. Denver, Colorado's 70. When you write out 7, it equals 70. And he stayed on 38 losses all-time with Kansas City. Colorado, 38. So, there was that. The Week 7 Gematria, 109.37. Los Angeles is the first game on the board. Those are Los Angeles numbers, 109.37, 134.44, 7. So, Rams at the Falcons. The most surface level riddle that stands out to me is if the Falcons won, they'd be 2-5. Falcons is 25 in the most pure cipher. It also has a value of 34 because there's one S in it. If the Rams lost, they'd be 3-4. And the Rams, they'd be on quite the losing streak. And consider that the Rams just lost in the Super Bowl to the Patriots there. Let's actually look at how many days it is from the Super Bowl. Well, let me think about it. What day was, I got to double check. Super Bowl 52 date. Or not 52, Super Bowl 53 date. I can't remember what day it was right now. February 3rd. So that was the 34th day of the year. All right, let's see how many days it is from the Super Bowl to this game. Because this could be the ritual right here. 259 days. It's 37 weeks later. Caller?
Hey, Zach. Hey, Big P up here in North Dakota.
Hey.
You're killing that. You're killing it at the hockey, man. You're killing it. I took 5 of the 6 you had yesterday. 5 of the 6. I left out Red Wings.
Well, you were smart. You were smart.
What's that?
You make good choices. You're doing a good job.
I switched up on that Panthers Avalanche because Panthers could go that 3-2-2 backwards on overtime.
Yeah.
And Avalanche is second from the top in the league. I just didn't think they were going to lose it. And the 3-2-2 looked really good. So the only way they could make 3-2-2 is to go with the Panthers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I took the Avalanche. That was my positive. Everything else was negative. Penguins were negative. Capitals were negative. Blackhawks were negative. But I took the Ducks as the positive. So I had 2 positives and 3 negatives. And I tripled the parlay. I 6-time tripled the parlay out of those 5 like there's no tomorrow. I made $150.
Awesome, man. Good work. I bet you got some good hockey.
That's good. You got that down. I'm gonna try and get into more of the NFL here, but the hockey you got that's steadfast, buddy.
I appreciate it, man.
Well, hockey's a good sport because in addition to wins and losses, you get the points riddles, and the points riddles are really helpful. It's the only sport where you have an extra thing to line up like that. So.
Big time, big time. Yeah, that's hella good. I didn't do anything with the college football today, but I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna bet the shit out of the hockey today.
All right, man. We'll keep up the good work.
Notes right now. I just got off work. Thanks, Zach.
Yeah. Keep it up, man. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, see you. He's from North Dakota. My guess is that he's a hockey fan in North Dakota. I have family in North Dakota. They like their hockey up there, so he probably has some good hockey knowledge. Because I realize he's making really good decisions with the information I put out. And again, that's the beauty of this knowledge. If you're knowledgeable about the sports, then you can take it and say like, okay, I feel better about this read because I know more about this game. I bet you that guy knows a whole lot more about hockey than I do. Anyway. Okay, so we just saw that the Rams-Falcons game, it's 37 weeks after the Super Bowl. Week 7's 37. Los Angeles is 37. So let me make a note about that. This game, remember Patriots is 37. This game is 37 weeks after the Super Bowl. Rams lost 13-3 in Super Bowl 53. In Atlanta. Okay, so that is an interesting sync. Oops. Okay. So the Rams are 47-28-2 versus the Falcons in the regular season. The 28's there, so if the Rams don't lose, they stay on those 28 losses in Week 7. Again, 28's the 7th triangular number, and they'd get the 48th win in Atlanta. Atlanta's 48. So those things jump out. If the Rams won, they'd be 20-20 at the Falcons. When you write out 7, it equals 20 in the most pure cipher. They could also get the 20th all-time win at Atlanta. And when I look at Goff's numbers, Goff could become 17-7 away all-time, 17 the 7th prime. He could also get his 20th all-time loss. I'd rather not look at the all-time stats, though. I'd rather look at the regular season. In the regular season, Goff can get his 28th regular season win and stay on 17 losses. Those were the jersey numbers of the first two guys to score for the opening game, Thursday Night Football. Number 28 for the Broncos, number 17 for the Chiefs. Goff could also stay on 7 away losses in the regular season. So 28, 17, 7. Those could all play in Goff's favor. Atlanta, Georgia equals 59, the 17th prime. McVay would also get his 28th regular season win. And so ultimately, to me, the numbers look better for the Rams. The concern is that they fall to 3-4 away because Falcons has the 34 connection. For Quinn, the game's on his 40th day of his age. Atlanta Falcons is 40. It's his 157th, or it's Matt Ryan's 157th day of his age. 37th prime, Los Angeles 37. In the regular season, Ryan's 103-77. There's nothing that really screams out to me about Matt Ryan's stats. He could stay on 83 all-time losses. Los Angeles Rams is 83. But again, I'd rather look at the regular season stats. Ryan's 4-0 versus the Rams, and he's 2-0 at home. You can make an argument for him falling to 4-1 because LA's 41, or becoming 3-0 at home. Rams is 30. We just saw Jalen Ramsey traded to the Rams on the 30th day of his trade demand story. Of course, he also got traded on the 15th of the month, and Rams is 15 as well. Maybe we should look at how things line up with Jalen Ramsey since he's going to be one of the storylines of the game. It's going to be 4 days before his birthday, so 361 days after his birthday. Where's he from? He's from Tennessee. Okay. There's not a clue in his name. Okay, so through the quarterback, and the riddles typically are through the quarterback, I mean, things look pretty good for Goff. Again, my apprehension here is just that the Falcons can become 2-5, big number with them. We did see Wentz fail to get his 25th win against the Falcons earlier this year, which surprised me. It's the Falcons' only win so far over the Eagles. But if the Falcons lost, they'd be 1-6. Los Angeles is 53, the 16th prime. So you can make an argument for the 2-5 or 1-6. Again, I think Goff's record is the strongest riddle here, but just because of that 2-5 and 3-4 thing, if you're looking for games that are absolutely as safe as can be, I wouldn't rank this game there. But I do think Goff's numbers, just how many things line up with 7, and it being week 7, I think, that could be the top clue. And doesn't Goff wear number 16? If he sank the Falcons to 1-6, yeah. That's one thing I keep forgetting to look at is the jersey numbers of these guys. Matt Ryan's number 2. Okay, so that's that game. The Dolphins at the Bills. I wish they would have kept Rosen in there because at the beginning of the week, the coach said he was going to go with Rosen, but now he's got Fitzpatrick in. Caller?
Hey, Zach. Good afternoon. Ron from Thousand Oaks.
Hey, man.
Just noticed something good about the Falcons, or possibly could be a good thing, is that Quinn, the coach, he could pick up his 38 win, and Falcons equals 38.
That's true, but I mean, he could get that at any point, right?
True, yeah. I mean, it's all...
He could stay on 37 versus Los Angeles. Los Angeles 37.
True. And I also noticed that the Atlanta Falcons equals 139th. That's the 34th prime. They can make the Rams 3-4 for the season.
Which one equals 139?
When you spell out Atlanta Falcons.
Okay, I got to double check that. Yeah, no, you're actually right about that. I know you're right about that. Yeah, that's a good point. That'd be another reason to go 3-4. All right.
And I also noticed the Atlanta Falcons also has the 239. That's the 52nd prime. Maybe Atlanta can pick up their second win of the year.
Say that again about the second win?
Maybe Atlanta can become 2-5 for the year.
Right. Falcons is 25. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
All right, thanks, man.
That's all I had.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care. Caller?
Zach,
Yeah.
a couple quick points on that Rams game. It's the 80th matchup with the Rams and Falcons.
Uh-huh.
And Mercedes-Benz Stadium equals 80, full reduction. And Goff could also stay on 15 away wins with a 15-day numerology.
That is true. Wait.
Yeah.
15 away wins, yeah, that is true. Okay, I see that.
Yep. So,
All right,
that's
appreciate
all for
that.
game.
All right, thanks, man. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a one-way street game. Falcons in 25 is a number that's shown up for them a lot over the years. And the most infamous of all was the 25-point comeback on 2/5 by the Patriots in that Super Bowl to get the AFC its 25th Super Bowl win. I wish my channel hadn't been deleted so I could... I always loved looking at that video, the comments, man. That video had 10,000 comments and about 8,000 of them were making fun of me when the Patriots were down in that game because I guaranteed the Patriots were going to win. It was all about 25 and they'd get the 25th championship. There should have been 8,000 apologies, but there wasn't. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, I know he's right about Atlanta Falcons. It equals 239 and 139. Plug it in here. And 139 is the 34th prime. So if the Rams lost, they would be 3-4 like how they lost the Super Bowl in that building on the 34th day of the year. It's just you got to go against all those 7 riddles that line up in Goff's stats. So, let me plug it in here, though. So let's just keep scanning the games. I felt really good about the Bills beating the Dolphins when Rosen was in there because it was perfect on both sides. Now they got Fitzpatrick in. The coach changed his mind. At the beginning of the week, he said he was sticking with Rosen as his starter, but then midweek he went back to Fitzpatrick. The Dolphins... Hold on. Caller?
Yeah, Zach, I was going to say, Man, fuck the Falcons, man. I'm from Atlanta, fuck them, and what I was going to say is use your initial thought, because remember you had them going 1-6 out the gate, and that was like around week 1 or week 2. I remember you kept saying that. So it's here now, so you might as well stick to the G code and just let it ride out. I like the Rams this week, period.
Well, again, I am leaning Rams too. I'm just saying, for people who want really safe games, the Falcons got a couple things in the bag that could go their way. But yeah, Jared Goff, his numbers are all 7 if he wins. So.
Yeah, and like I said, 5 weeks, damn near a month ago, Zach, you had them one.
Yeah.
Keep out my job. They was laughing at me. Now it's one game away, so.
Yeah.
Stick to the guns, man, and that's all I had.
Okay, appreciate it, man.
No problem.
And for people who aren't familiar with his voice, he's been the hot hand. He's had a lot of good calls. He didn't flinch for a second on Kansas City on Thursday. We talked about Atlanta falling to 1-5 at the start of the year too, just because Atlanta's 15, so that happened. Now they'd be 1-6. Los Angeles 53, the 16th prime. Okay, but this Dolphins and Bills game, I like the Bills a whole lot more when Rosen was in there. I'll show you why. The numerology for a Dolphins upset would be them improving to 1-5 on a 15-date numerology and the Bills falling to 4-2 on a 42-date. Seems unlikely. The Bills have been playing great. And the other riddle for the Dolphins would be to even up the series at 27-27 in the regular season. Buffalo and Miami are both 27. But that doesn't go with Week 7, and that doesn't have to happen either. I mean, it looks nice on paper, but it does not have to go that way. If the Dolphins lose, Dolphins can pick up 28th regular season. Here, I like to use the at symbol. I see it more clearly. Loss at Buffalo. And again, 27 8th triangular number. So, whoops, not 27. I got dyslexic. 28th, the 7th triangular number. They can get the 28th away loss at Buffalo in Week 7. Probably what's coming. Fitzpatrick. See, Rosen would have become 2-7 away with a loss in Buffalo's 27. So that's why I liked it better when Rosen was in there, because I can't see it as clearly with Fitzpatrick. He's 21-42 away for his career. And he's 3-2 versus the Bills. So if he lost, he would be 3-3. New York's 33, but you have the 42 date numerology as well. Usually the Gematria trumps the date numerology, so falling to 3-3 is probably where it's at. And with Josh Allen, it still makes sense if he wins. If he wins, he's 6-3 at home, and Buffalo's 63. It's just before when Rosen was in there, both of them, the away record would have been perfect with the Rosen loss. Allen's record still perfect with the home win. So, and Rosen can stay on 7 regular season losses as well in Week 7. So, or did I misspeak? Allen can stay on 7 losses in Week 7. Fitzpatrick comes in with 77 regular season and all-time losses. He's never played a postseason game, so his all-time stats are his regular season stats as well. McDermott, he can get his 20th win on the 20th of the month. And Sean McDermott equals 51. If the Bills win, they'd be 5-1. And also, if the Bills win, it gives them a shot to improve to 6-1 against Philadelphia next week. We know how Philadelphia in 61 plays. And again, Bills are one of those teams with the 54 connection. So at this point, it's looking like they're going to be the class of New York. Buffalo's a 17-point favorite in Week 7. So the only question is, do the Bills cover? Again, I thought the Bills were a lock when Rosen was in there. They have a little, I'd say the Dolphins have a little shot just because of the date numerology and Fitzpatrick staying on 77 losses in Week 7, but pretty unlikely. Caller?
Hey, Zach, you talking about that Josh Allen. If he becomes 10-7, 107 is the 28 prime. I know you like that 7 this week. So.
Oh, that's a good point, too. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
give Miami that 28 loss.
Yeah, that makes sense, too. That's good math. Yeah, nice work.
Yep.
All right, thanks, man. All right, let me plug that in the notes too. So Allen's 9-7 with the win. He's 10-7, like 107, 28th prime, and 28 7th triangular number. So I'm gonna stick with the Bills. I just wish they kept Rosen in there because it looked even better. So, but if Bills win this week, don't forget this next week for Philadelphia. If they can get to 6-1 against Philly, usually a big number with Philly. All right, the Jaguars and Bengals. Bengals are looking for that first win. When's it going to come? If the Bengals lost, they'd be 0-7 in Week 7 against the Jaguars. Jaguars equals 77. Gardner Minshew equals 77. Jacksonville's a slight favorite on the road. And if the guys out there who called the Bengals to win the Super Bowl, you're welcome to call in, man. You did become a punk for a minute, but you made a good call on the Nationals, so, you don't have to be embarrassed about your Bengals call. I don't know if you're still out there or not. He used to listen religiously, but anyway. So, the head-to-head record, there's nothing real clear in that head-to-head record. Jaguars are 12-9 versus the Bengals. Jaguars are 4-6 at the Bengals. Notice they could pick up that 7th loss at the Bengals all time in Week 7. And Ohio's 47. Always a big number with Ohio. Jaguars could pick up 7th loss at Bengals in Week 7. And again, Jaguars, they got that 7 connection. Jaguars is 77. If Minshew loses, he'll be 2-4 in the regular season. Bengals is 24 in the most pure cipher, but it does have an S. So Bengals is also 33. So if he got to 3-3 versus the Bengals, it's possible. Marone, his numbers don't really align with a Bengals win or loss. He could stay on 33 wins. Bengals is 33. His all-time stats don't sync. If the Jaguars did fall to... Hold on. If the... Oh, by the way, the Jaguars coming in 2-4 like how Bengals is 24, that could be an indicator that Minshew falls to 2-4 as well. Again, that's Bengals in the most pure cipher. If the Bengals did lose, they'd be 2-5 for the season as a team. Paul Brown Stadium does equal 97, the 25th prime. When you write out 7 as a word, it equals 25. And let's see. The game's 163 days after the Bengals coach's birthday, which is the 38th prime, and Dalton's next home win is 38. Florida equals 38, but not Jacksonville. So... games in Cincinnati. Dalton could stay on 25 losses at home in Week 7. Again, when you write out 7, it's 25. And if the Bengals won, they would be 1-6. Ohio 16. And then the other relevance of that number is, again, Vesica Piscis, the shape of the football, is 53, the 16th prime. So... again, it's like... Let me see if there was any kind of winning streak. I don't think there was. I just want to double check it. Pretty sure these teams split the last 2 games against each other. Yeah, they split the last 2. Bengals lost the last game at Jacksonville, won the last one at home 33-23. Caller?
Couple quick points, Zach. If the Jags lose, they would be 12-10 against Cincinnati. And you could look at that like 121. Zach Taylor, the coach for the Bengals, is 121.
That's a good point.
Ohio's also 61 reverse ordinal. 61 is the 18th prime. Jacksonville could stay on 18 wins. Or not Jacksonville, Marone. His record with the Jags, he can stay on 18 wins. So,
okay, that makes some sense. Yeah.
Yep.
Good observations. All right, thank you.
Yep.
So yeah, to me things look a little bit better for the Bengals this game. Just the 2-4 thing. becoming 1-6 because Ohio's 16. And I'll make this point about Zach Taylor equals 121. That is true. And also, again, the Jaguars will get that 7th loss at the Bengals in Week 7. Fall to 4-7 Ohio numbers. So you get the Ohio numbers all over the place if the Bengals take it. So I'm gonna take the 7s if push comes to shove for Week 7. And the way it could hurt the Bengals is if they began the year 0-7 versus the Jaguars, because Jaguars is 77. So just making sure that note's here too. But ultimately, Minshew falling to 2-4 against the Bengals. Bengals 24, most pure cipher. Just like how they came in 2-4. I think that's probably the best clue on the board. Okay, Vikings at Lions. This is a game I like this week. Minnesota in 52, always favorable for us. Plus, if the Lions lose, notice they'll be 2-3-1. Look at what happens when I write in Minnesota Vikings. If I spell it right. Minnesota Vikings. I must be spelling it wrong. There it is. Minnesota Vikings is 231. So Lions lose, they're 2-3-1. Minnesota wins, they're 5-2. Just like how they hosted Super Bowl 52. So I like that. And the Vikings' next win is 75. Minnesota Vikings equals 75. Doesn't have to come in this game, but just pointing that out. I guess I'll just write it here anyway. Maybe it ends up being the score. Maybe it's a shootout. The Vikings have also won 3 straight versus the Lions. So if they won 4 straight, remember there's a relationship with 4 and 7. 7 is the 4th prime number. And what's the other relationship with 4 and 7? There's one other thing that I'm forgetting. I can't think of it right now. There's another mathematical relationship with 7 and 4, but 7 is the 4th prime number. Okay, let's see. The biggest concern going against the Vikings is just that Cousins could get that 25th loss, because when you write out 7, it's 25, but I'm going to take those head-to-head records. They're just too perfect. Lions becoming 2-3-1 against the Minnesota Vikings. Zimmer would also get his 52nd win as a coach, and his team would improve to 5-2. Ford Field, where they're playing, equals 52 as well. So great location to become 5-2 and get the 52nd win as a coach. And Zimmer's all-time stats could go against him, but again, I'm going to go with the regular season over the all-time every time. The only time I look at the all-time is if there's nothing there in the regular season. The game's 37 days after Patricia's birthday. Detroit's 37, so is Vikings. Could be a sign about the score. Maybe you have a winning score at 37 tomorrow. The narrative for Stafford would be to get his 69th win on the 69 date numerology. And if I'm not mistaken, Lions is 69 as well. But again, I like the Minnesota Vikings 231 more than anything. Whoops. And caller?
Hey Zach, how you doing, man?
Doing all right. How are you?
Man, I'm mad, man. I messed up today, man. I mean, I got the parlays to make it up a little bit. It didn't work out for me today, but I got a little change left. What do you think about the Yankees, man? You think they BRD or you think Yankees or Houston win tonight? You think baseball?
Well, we were talking about how if the Yankees make it go to Game 7, Garrett Cole would pitch tomorrow on his 43rd day of his age, going for his 20th straight win on the 20th. Astros equals 20 and 43, so I don't know if that's the safest game of the day, that baseball game, but there's a riddle there for it to go to Game 7.
Okay, I'm glad you did, because I would pick Houston win too, but I wait. I got a question for you. What about hockey? In a good hockey right now? Because I ain't too long came on the line. You didn't the notes, but I had a chance to look at it. So what do you think hockey for tonight yet? The best one you like?
Yeah, go to the NHL notes and scroll to the very last game and just take a good look at it.
Okay. I got one thing. It's the top one, the bottom one. Can you tell me that?
The very bottom of the page, the last game, the Buffalo game. Look at it.
Yeah. You told me I know about that, but which one make top one, the bottom one of the team? The top or the bottom? You said you like the best though. On the bottom one.
Sabres equals 44-19. Notice what team can become 4-4 and pick up their 8th points on the 19th of the month. 19's the 8th prime. It's all there in the notes if you just open it up.
Okay, no problem. I know you. I forgot you got a lot of controls over here. I forgot you right.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem, Zach. Thank you very much, man.
All right. Yeah, welcome, Steve.
All right.
Yeah, the mistake he keeps making is he keeps putting games that are like 30-point favorites in his parlays. There's no point in even doing that because they don't pay anything, and if they do get upset, I'm guessing, because he said he got hurt today, I'm guessing what he got hurt on was Wisconsin losing. So, anyway, do smaller parlays with good, strong riddles. All right, but anyway, I like Minnesota getting to 5-2, Minnesota 52, Ford Field 52, and the Lions being 2-3-1 because Minnesota Vikings is 231. Got to ride that. And let's see, Raiders at Packers. The Packers could fall to 5-2. That's definitely a number that hits with the Raiders. We saw the Raiders beat the Colts earlier this year, and I forget if the Colts fell to 5-2 at home versus the Raiders, or the Raiders became 5-2 at the Colts. It was one of the two things. But 52 and Raiders is a good combo. That said, when you look at Aaron Rodgers, well, here, let's just go through everything. If the Raiders lose, they'll be 5-8 versus the Packers. Oakland equals 58. Green Bay, Wisconsin is 85. So, hold on, we got a caller. Caller?
Hey, Zach, Kirk Cousins, he's 2-1 versus the Lions. Ford Field is a 79 English Ordinal. That's the 22nd prime.
Right.
And then he's also 1-1 at Detroit. And of course, Detroit 37th to 12th prime.
It's true. Yeah, there are some things in his stats that go against him, but the head-to-head records is too good to me. Minnesota Vikings 231. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Here, I'll put it up there just so everyone can look at it. Ford Field is 79. It's also 52 though, and again, I just can't go against that head-to-head record. It's too good. Hold on. Okay. So anyway, the Raiders' narrative to upset is making the Packers 5-2. But notice if the Packers win, they'll be 4-1 at home. Oakland's 41, Green Bay's 41, Rodgers is 41, Bart's 41, Star's 41. And again, the Raiders would fall to 5-8 versus the Packers if they lost, which connects to Oakland and Green Bay, Wisconsin. The Raiders, if they did win, they'd be 4-4 at the Packers. Packers is 44, but I'll take the overall record before just the record at there. And then the other thing is if Carr loses, he'll get his 28th away loss. Packers is 28. 28's the 7th triangular number for our Week 7 riddle. And then Aaron Rodgers, this game's 322 days after his birthday. Not sure what that means, but hopefully he doesn't die like Alex Smith on the 322nd day of the year. But Rodgers can get his 115th all-time win. Raiders is 115. You also got the 69 date numerology. You can get his 69th win at home. Whoops. And then in the regular season, he can stay on 58 losses. Oakland's 58. And you know what else I see, actually? Oakland, California's 106. So he can get his 106th win as well and stay on 58 losses. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
What's up, man?
Hey, so you know that Vikings game and Lions is kind of iffy because remember what happened on Monday night when the the refs took the game from the Lions, so I'm thinking maybe they might get some calls their way. Everybody, all the Lions fans are.
That's what Lions fans have been thinking for 50 years, man. The same thing. The calls always go against the Lions.
Yeah, they've been fun a lot of times. Also, one last thing. Keep in mind, last 2 weeks, like I said before, a lot of underdogs been winning. So I'm just thinking this week might be in turn for a little bit to balance things out and have more. There won't be. I think it's gonna be less upset. But something to keep in mind, though.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it.
All right.
See you. Okay. I'm going to stick with the thought of just how good the head-to-head records are. Ford Field, Minnesota 52, Minnesota Vikings 231. What are the odds that the Lions can become 2-3-1 against the Minnesota Vikings? And again, they'd win 4 straight in Week 7. Big number pairing, 4 and 7. All right, but Aaron Rodgers, his stats just scream win. 115th, Raiders 115, 69th home win, 69 date numerology, regular season. He gets the 106th win and stays on 58 losses. Oakland, California 106, Oakland 58, gets a 65th home win in the Week 7. When you write out 7, it's 65, stays on 17 home losses, 17 the 7th prime in Week 7. And again, Packers can improve to 4-1 at home. Green Bay 41, Oakland 41, Rodgers 41, Bart 41, Star 41. So this is the only concern right here. The Packers can fall to 5-2, but again, these numbers look almost like when Rodgers faced the Dallas Cowboys, right? His all-time and his regular season records just made a ton of sense with a win. If Rodgers gets hurt, just remember it's 322 days after his birthday. That was the number that doomed Alex Smith last year. Alex Smith and Aaron Rodgers are connected stories through the 2005 NFL Draft. The Texans and Colts game, this one is not clear in my opinion. You don't have any numbers that really go with Week 7, other than the Texans could get the 28th loss all time, 28 the 7th triangular number. Maybe. I don't see anything in the regular season stats, so maybe it's worth looking at the all-time stat. I'd rather it be in the regular season, though. These teams will play again Week 12. The game, nothing really jumps out, actually, with... Actually, I guess I see one thing. Hold on. 37, 12th prime. Watson could pick up 12th loss all-time on 37th day of his age. Okay. If Watson lost in the regular season, he'd get his 11th loss. Colts is 66, the 11th triangular number. I guess he can get his 7th away loss. Watson can pick up 7th away loss in Week 7. And let's see. He's 1-2 versus the Colts all time. 13 luck, the horseshoe on the helmet, maybe. I don't see the numbers with O'Brien's win or loss record, the coach of the Texans. If the Texans did win, though, they would improve to 5-2 to face the Raiders next week. Raiders is 52. If the Texans did win, they'd be 3-1 away. Houston's 31. Texans, though, 79, the 22nd prime. If the Texans lost, they would be 4-3. Could be something with because this game will be tomorrow. If there's a Game 7 tomorrow in the World Series, and say like the Astros won, Astros is 43. It could be some kind of cross-sport tribute if the Texans lost, falling to 4-3 like Astros 43. So that's possible, but I don't think we're going to be able to observe that because the game will already be underway. Jacoby Brissett, the Colts quarterback, he's 3-0 versus Houston today. If he lost, he'd fall to 3-1. We see a lot of 31 with Houston. So he's on 7 losses at home. He could stay on 7. But honestly, I'm not crazy about this game right here. So the game's 313 days after Brissett's birthday. That's the 65th prime, 313. Again, when you write out 7, it equals 65. So, but that's not a game I like a lot. Let me double check something real quick. Indiana is 137, isn't it? The 33rd prime if the Colts lost. Indiana's also 52. I forgot about that. Caller?
Hey, Zach. Just something about the Packers game. A lot looks good for the Packers, but something I did notice is that John Gruden can pick up his 46th win as an Oakland head coach, and Lambeau Field equals 46.
Okay, that's a good observation. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, something a little sneaky there, but yeah, that's all I had.
Well, the other thing about Gruden is that if he didn't lose, he'd stay on 95 regular season losses all time, in Green Bay, Wisconsin's 95. So yeah, that is a good observation. All right, appreciate that.
Plus, he used to be the wide receivers coach for the Packers.
Right.
I didn't do much research there, but I just knew that was that's
part
of his career there.
I think he was there with Holmgren, if I remember right. So.
Yes.
All right, man. Yep.
All right, Zach.
All right,
appreciate you.
Yeah, that is true. Okay. Lambeau Field. Let me just double check it. I think that is right, though. Yeah, Lambeau Field's 46. He could also get that 41st loss, though, in Green Bay's 41. That's just a little bit more straightforward. Again, Rodgers' numbers, man, they line up in too many ways to go against. And I like the Packers getting to 4-1 at home against Oakland as well, just because Oakland and Green Bay are both 41. So I'm taking the Packers in this one. And also, again, Derek Carr gets that 28th loss. Packers 28 goes with the Week 7 thing. So it makes sense on both sides, the quarterbacks. To me, the best riddle on the board for the Raiders is just the 5-2 thing, but Oakland and 41, that's another big number with them, so I'm staying Green Bay there. Caller?
Zach, Houston's 3-14 at Indy.
Right.
Colts equals 15 for reduction, 15 date numerology.
Yeah, that is a good point about the date numerology. Yeah. Good one, man.
No problem.
All right. Yeah, I know that Colts equals 15. The date numerology's the one that's the clincher. And again, if the Texans did lose, the 7s would hit. Watson would get his 7th away loss, and Brissett would stay on 7 home losses. So Indy just barely a favorite. Let me look at who these teams play again next. Texans got the Raiders, right? So if Texans won, they'd be 5-2. Indiana and Raiders are both 52. And the Colts. We got the Broncos next. It's hard to say. It would make sense, though, for the Texans to get that 15th loss just because of the 15 date numerology. And then the 7s would hit. On both sides. Again, Brissett would stay on 7, and Watson would get that 7. Caller?
Oh yeah, on the Texans-Colts game, I got this on the NFL app. It says battle for first place in AFC South. If you type in first place, it sums to 42 if you take the 1 ST place. And if you type in AFC South, it sums to 42.
That's so a good thought right there. That's a good thought.
Yeah, the Texans come in 4-2, so they was first place in the AFC South. And if they lose, they would drop to 4-3. Colts would go to 4-2, which would make them first place in the AFC South.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good riddle right there. I like that.
All right.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. Bye.
Okay. Yeah, so he's right. We just verified it. The Colts are the super sleeper team for the Super Bowl because, again, backup's 54 and Brissett, the Super Bowl's on his 54th day of his age. When Andrew Luck retired, it was synced up with Brissett's birthday. Yeah, I got to say that the best riddles on the board do support the Colts here. You get the 7s on both sides with the quarterback if the Colts win, and the date numerology would support the 15th loss at the Colts all time. And the AFC South riddle's not bad either. Okay. Okay. Okay, the Cardinals and the Giants. All week, I'm hearing the whole mainstream media talk about how Daniel Jones is the better quarterback than Kyler Murray. And I'm also hearing these same people say they expect the Giants to win this week and for Daniel Jones to show that. But check this out. If the Cardinals win, they'll be 3-3-1 in the regular season, like 331, the 67th prime. Kyler Murray equals 67. Of course, they'd get to 3-3 in New York. New York's 33. And if Shermer lost, he'd get his 39th loss. He'd stay on 17 wins in Week 7, right? 17, the 7th prime. He'd also stay on 7 wins with the Giants. So, and in light of him getting that 39th loss, again, Arizona and New York, out of the 50 states, they're the only two that sum to 39 in the most pure cipher. Plus, the Giants would fall to 2-5. Giants equals 25 in the most pure cipher. It does equal 34 as well. That'd be their riddle to win. But, I mean, this lines up pretty nice for the Cardinals here. The 3-3-1, 3-3 in New York, connects to Kyler Murray, and it goes against what the mainstream media has been preaching all week. So, I think Shermer stays on those 17 wins in Week 7 and picks up that 39th loss. Cardinals playing across the country on the road's not always the most encouraging bet, but the riddle's there, so. All right, the 49ers at the Redskins. I just wonder if this game could be the game that shocks everybody this week. Maybe the Redskins will be a new team under Callahan. Came out and beat Miami last week, which wasn't really the greatest accomplishment. But I just think about how the 49ers, 5-0 in the Super Bowl, and then they lost in the Harbaugh Bowl to become 5-1, and that was to the Ravens, who are in the Maryland area, like the Redskins. So I just see this parallel with that. If the Redskins won, they'd be 2-5. 7 equals 25, Week 7. And let's see. The 49ers are 17-10-1 versus the Redskins, so they could stay on 17 wins in Week 7. They don't have to, though. Just to go back up to the top with the Chiefs. One of the things I was worried about with the Chiefs, if they lost, was that Mahomes could have become 17-7 in the regular season. He did not. So he stayed on 7 all-time losses. Again, he became 19-7. Denver Broncos 197 all-time. And we liked how he could become 10-3 away because we'd already seen the 103 pattern hit with the Broncos. But this, I'm showing you this as a reminder that, all the 17-7 riddles probably aren't going to hit this week. I do think they'll come out in the majority of games, but probably not all. So, That is something to think about, though, with this 49ers game. The 49ers have historically not played well on the East Coast. Again, at the beginning of the season, they ended a 14-game losing streak on the East Coast by beating Tampa Bay to start the season. So, if the 49ers did win their next 2 away games, they would become 5-0, though, for another 50 tribute. San Francisco 50. This year's Super Bowl will be the 50th of the modern era. So anyway, 49ers, they could stay on 17 wins versus the Redskins. It is the 29th game, which is the 10th prime. They could stay on 10 losses as well. If the 49ers won, they'd be 9-7 at the Redskins, like 97, the 25th prime, when you write out 7 as 25. If the Redskins won, 49ers would fall to 8-8. It's the Redskins' 88th season. 19's also the 8th prime. And let's see. Jimmy G, he's 13-2 and 7-2 away. If he won, he'd be 8-2. The shape of the football, Vesicapis is 82. But at the same time, if he lost, he'd be 13-3. Football's 133. Shanahan, he could get his 6th win of the season and his 16th win all time. When you write out 6, it's 16. And this game's in FedEx Field, which equals 53, the 16th prime. So it would be a fitting location for Shanahan to get his 16th win. I wish he was going for 17, though, because that's what the Redskins coach has going. Let's see. So Callahan, the new coach of the Redskins, he's 16-17 in the regular season. If he won, he'd be 17-17. 17, the 7th prime number. And if the 49ers lost, there'd only be one undefeated team left in the league, and that would be the Patriots, who play on Monday Night Football. And look at that game, too. The Jets have a little narrative in that game. So, yeah, the 49ers have been playing awesome. It's really hard to go against them, but I just wonder. I wonder if the Redskins could upset. The 17s and the 7s are there. 49ers could also stay on 7 losses at the Redskins in Week 7. Yeah, so, I don't know about this game. 49ers aren't a great payout on the money line. And, let's see. Caller?
Hey, Zach, Keenum could pick up that 28th win against the Niners. Niners equals 28 for reduction.
When you write out the word Niners?
Well, 49ers, I'm sorry. 49ers equals 28 for reduction.
I missed that. Let me see that. Yeah, you're right about that.
And you also got, he's 14-15 at home with the 15-day numerology. So he could stay on 15 home losses and pick up that 15th win.
Yeah, that's very true. He got his 27th last week over Miami. Miami's 27. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Good work.
Yes.
49ers does equal 28. 28, 7th triangular number. And 15 date numerology could improve to 15 and 15 at home. If I was to take the Redskins, I'd definitely take them with the points. So, remember, the Redskins looked formidable week 1. They blew out the Eagles in the first half, but then they lost that game. So, could just be one of those changing of the coaches type things. The only real riddle on the board for the 49ers that connects with the numbers is Shanahan getting that 16th win at FedEx Field and then just staying on 7 losses at the Redskins in Week 7. Almost everything else points to the Redskins. Okay. If the 49ers started the year 8-0, they'd face Russell Wilson 8-0 in a primetime match, and Russell Wilson's 81. That's something else that could set up down the road if the 49ers keep it going. I believe next week they play Cardinals, if I'm not mistaken. Caller?
Yo, what's up?
Hey man.
Do you remember week 5, I believe, the Patriots were 5-0 and the 49ers were 4-0 and it was like Super Bowl 54?
Right.
You know how week 11, since the 49ers already got the bye, both teams could maybe be 10-0, like the NFL season is 100, right? So
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking, that the Patriots and 49ers might both be at 10-0, and then maybe one of the teams like Dolphins might be 0-10. So I'm thinking like the 49ers are going to win and probably the next couple of games till week 11.
It's possible. That is possible. So.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all I got to say.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, it's really hard to go against the 49ers just because, it's all scripted, but they're playing so well. But again, there is a possibility that the Redskins turn the corner now with the new coach. Sometimes that's the way it works out in sports. You change the coach, then all of a sudden the team comes together. So remember, the Redskins weren't a bad team last year. They don't have Alex Smith, though. So... I think this is a game to stay away from, though, honestly. 49ers, again, aren't going to be a great payout on the money line. There's no guarantee they'll cover that spread. So, personally, for me, I would stay away from this game. Even though there's numbers there for the Redskins, it could be one of those games where it's like... if the Redskins lose, you're going to be like, why did I choose the Redskins over the 49ers who are undefeated? But the Redskins do have more things definitely lining up for them, no doubt about it. Again, Callahan's record would just make a ton of sense. Keenum's record would make sense. And usually that's a good sign when the coach and the QB are in alignment. Okay. All right, the Chargers at the Titans. So this week, Ryan Tannehill's starting. Ryan Tannehill took the job. I thought that was going to happen. He's the better quarterback. Either team can become 3-4. Tennessee's 34. If the Titans won, they'd be 1-2 at home. Los Angeles 37, the 12th prime. Chargers would also fall to 1-2 away. So the Chargers have 27 wins in the regular season. That means they could get the 28th in Week 7, 28, the 7th triangular number. Going to ignore the all-time stats. Can make an argument either way there. Rivers, he's 53-53 away, which sucks because Tennessee Titans is 54. Could go either way. He's 7-1 versus the Titans in the regular season. If he lost, he would be 7-2 on the day leaving 72 days left in the year. Titans is 79, the 22nd prime. Chargers is also 79. If Rivers lost, he'd be 2-2 at Tennessee. So I'd say based on the date and the team names, there's probably more going against Rivers here. Anthony Lynn, he could get his 17th regular season loss in Week 17. He's on 15 losses with the Chargers, though. That's the trick. He's 23-16 as a coach, 23-15 with the Chargers. Nissan Stadium, where the game's at, does equal 89, the 24th prime. That'd be his riddle to pick up the 24th win. So... if the Chargers split their next two games, they would be 3-5 after playing at Chicago. Chicago's 35. You'd think that between these two road games, this would be the easier one. Chicago seems to be the better team right now. They definitely got the better defense than the Titans. Tannehill, he's 42 and 46, which is also a ball breaker because Chargers equals 43 and 47. Tennessee does equal 47 though. His stats are all-time and regular season. He's never been in the playoffs. If he didn't lose though, he'd stay on 46 losses in Nissan Stadium, which equals 46. Nashville, TN's also 46. So there is that. Ryan Tannehill equals 72. He's making his debut with the Titans on the day, leaving 72 days left in the year. And again, Rivers, if he lost, would be 7-2 versus the Titans. I know what I forgot to do. I forgot to get Tannehill splits versus the Chargers. Let's do that real quick. Let's see. He's 3-1 versus the Chargers. Okay. LA's 41. Tannehill is 3-1 versus Chargers. LA equals 41. I hate getting the game log for the teams that switch cities because you gotta remember the abbreviations for both. I forget what the abbreviation is. Let's see. Alright, so San Diego. So he faced them when they were San Diego. Alright, so he beat them at home 1-0. 2-0 at home. That one was on the road. That one was on the road. And looks like he hasn't played him as the Los Angeles Chargers yet. So he's 2-0 at home. Okay. Again, if the Titans won, it would be their first home win of the season. They'd get to 1-2, like 12. Los Angeles 37, the 12th prime, and the Chargers would also fall to 1-2 at home. So the trick here is what's more potent: the Chargers getting their 28th win versus the Titans in Week 7, or the numbers going against Rivers. Because the reality is with Tannehill and Rivers, you can make an argument either way for either one of them to win or lose. By the end of the day, what's in the column could make sense either way. But Rivers becoming 7-2 versus the Titans on the day, leaving 72 days left in the year. That's quite an alignment. I would say that would really punctuate the hopes of the Chargers being in the Super Bowl if they went down 2-5. So I haven't liked the Titans games this year. I might just let this one go too. I think it looks slightly better for the Titans, but again, this wouldn't surprise me right here if the Chargers got that 28th win in Week 7. So I'm going to pass on the Titans game again this week. If one of you guys have a killer staff for it, I'm listening, but I'm going to wait and see what they do with Tannehill. Maybe Tannehill comes out and plays lights out and gets the Titans rolling, because they were supposed to have a better season than what they've done so far. All right, the Saints and the Bears. If the Saints win, they're 6-1, like 61, the 18th prime number. Bears is 18 in the most pure cipher. If the Bears win, they improve to 4-2 on the 42 date numerology, and Trubisky would get his 19th win, Saints 19. So, hold on, we got a caller here. Caller?
Another good thing for the Titans, Zach, the Chargers, they can pick up that 15th loss. Tennessee equaling 47, 15th prime.
That's true. I don't know why my eyes aren't seeing those 15s. Yeah, you're right, man.
Yo, Zach, plus the 15 date. I swear, every game that 15 is playing in every game. It's a 15 pop up somewhere in every game.
You're right. The 15's all over the place, and for some reason my eyes keep missing all of them. But yeah, good observation, man.
It's all good.
All right, yeah, true. All right, thanks, man.
No problem.
And he is right. Tennessee does equal 47, the 15th prime, but still that 28 too. It's just like, ugh. I mean, to me, it looks like more things are going here for the Titans. Because what are the odds that Rivers comes in 7-1 versus the Titans and can fall to 7-2 on the day, leaving 72 days left in the year? I'll write this. I want to see what Tannehill does before picking any more Titans games. That said, it does look like a little more lines up for Titans. So, I mean, you guys can make a call if you want to take a stab at it, but me personally, I would just wait and see. So, well, hold on. Let me think about one more thing. Let me think about who. Let's imagine Tannehill comes out and plays well and is the starter for next week. Let's see if we can get a read on who we'd face next week and what that might do for his stats. So next week they'd host the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is 47. Ugh, man. So 2 weeks in a row, 47 opponents. And then he's got the Panthers. Panthers is 43. Well, if he split his next two decisions and was 43 and 47, I guess that would make sense to face the Panthers with that record. Titans is also 43. So he could get the 43rd win of his career in his debut with the Titans. All right. Okay, the Saints and the Bears. Again, Saints win. They're 6-1, which is like 61 to 18th prime. Bears 18. Bears can become 4-2 on the 42 date. And I guess if the Saints lost, they'd stay on 15 wins on the 15 date numerology. Caller's right. The 15 is everywhere. Hold on, we got another caller here. Caller?
Oh yeah, Tampa Bay Bucks is 34. If Titans win, they go to 3-4 into Bucks. And then also they'll be playing at home, Tennessee 34.
Right. Just the one thing is the Chargers could also become 3-4 in Tennessee, but I hear what you're saying. So.
Oh yeah, I didn't look on the other side as far as the Chargers, but that's what I had as far as the 34 for if they won.
What did you say? Bucks is 34?
Tampa Bay Bucks.
Oh, Tampa Bay Bucks. Okay.
Yeah, try to bring up on the cheat sheet. Tampa.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It is.
Tampa Bay Bucks 34.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And then also another stat from the NFL app said that Chargers won 11 of the last 12 versus Titans, including playoffs. So what I found, Philip Michael Rivers equals 113. So if you take the 11, the first two, and then the last two, the 13, which would make it 11 out of 13.
Right. 1-1-1-1-3.
Well, no, it's just 1-1-3. You go 1-1 the first two, and then the second and the third is 1-3.
Okay, I see what you're doing. Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
So,
all right. Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right,
welcome. All right. Here, I'll plug this note in here too. Sounds like you guys like the Titans. I do think they have a little bit better riddle. Again, I just want to see what they do with Tannehill, though. If Titans win, they will face Bucks 3-4. Tampa Bay Bucks 34. I think that's fair. People call them the Bucks as much as they call them the Buccaneers. And again, Bucks is 63. We saw that 63 riddle with Daniel Jones 63 the other week. Giants beat Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay. All right, so the Saints and Bears game, ultimately the stat that stands out over all the other stats. Well, I'll say this too. If the Saints lost, they'd be 5-2, 58 days before the Pope's birthday, and we've documented over the years how they'll line up the Saints games with the Pope. Pope's 52, Pope Francis is 58. So that'd be a nice tribute to the Pope. Caller?
Yeah, hey Zach, did you already look at the Falcons game?
We did. Yeah, what were your thoughts on it?
So I've seen a lot of 48s that line up with this game. So it's a span of 222 weeks and 3 days since Matt Ryan's last birthday. 223 is the 48th time.
Right.
The Falcons can pick up their 48th all-time loss versus the Rams.
That's right, and Atlanta's 48 too.
Yep, and ATL equals 48. And also notice this, which is very interesting. So it's been 157 days since Matt Ryan's last birthday. 157 is the 37th prime.
Right.
Okay? And the last time the Rams played in ATL was a span of 37 weeks.
The Super Bowl, right?
Yep, it was a span of 37 weeks, and Georgia sums at 37.
That's true. Georgia is 37.
Also, another 48 on the board, Jalen Ramsey, his name sums to 48. He's got traded to the Rams. To the
Rams.
So that's interesting, too.
Hold on. I thought I typed in his name, and I didn't notice it equaled 48. Let me do that again.
Yep. It equals 48.
No, I think you added a letter somewhere. Unless I'm spelling his name wrong. Let me see.
Jalen Ramsey, let me see.
Maybe
Ramsey, right? Ramsey?
Hold on. I'm not seeing the 48.
Let me see, hold on. Let me double check.
42.
Let me double check. You sure? Let me see. I put that down. Let me make sure. Monster later.
Unless it's like the first name or the last name. Jalen's 42. Ramsey. Yeah, I don't see the 48. I see a 42 and a 66.
Maybe I was looking at it in another cipher. Let me see. Jalen Ramsey. Okay, I see the 42. I don't see the 48 either. That's weird. I don't know why. Let me make sure I didn't put it in another cipher. Let me try. Okay, I don't see that. Yeah, I see the 42. Oh, that's why. I was looking at a different cipher. I was looking at Jewish reduction. I know you don't use that cipher. I forgot you don't use that, right? Jewish reduction, you don't use it, huh?
Yeah, I don't. Because I'm not even. It's an experimental cipher. The guy who made the website put it on there. I mean, it could be real, but yeah, I've never used it.
But okay, yeah, that was a Jewish reduction named Sunday 48. But anyway, Jared Goff can pick up his 16th all-time win too, also, and he wears the number 16.
This is true. This is true.
That's interesting, and his name also sums to 48. Jared Goff sums to 48. I don't know if you noticed that. And this was the biggest one right here that I wanted to really get out. So Matt Ryan is 4-0 in his career versus the LA Rams, and LA sums to 41. He's 4-0, so he could fall to 4-1.
Check some of your spellings because Jared Goff doesn't equal 48. So
his name doesn't equal 48.
No. No.
Let me see.
His name Goff does equal 34 though. That's the one thing I worry about with the Rams is just that they could fall to 3-4 because Falcons has the 34 connection and they lost the Super Bowl there on the 34th day of the year. But I do think more lines up for the Rams in this game.
Okay. What about this? I have another one on here. Matt Ryan is 5-0 all time versus the Rams. If he loses, he'll fall to 5-1.
And Rams is 51.
Full reduction equals 51.
Yeah.
Now that does equal 51. So he could fall to 5-1 in his career all time versus the Rams, and Rams equals 51. That makes sense.
Where did you get the stat that he was 5-0? I got him at 4-0.
Well, I added the if you had the playoff game, so you're adding all time, all his games versus the Rams. But if we're going off the regular season, yeah, he's 4-0, and he could fall to 4-1. So that makes sense too, because LA equals 41.
Okay.
So either way, it makes sense. Even with his all-time record at 5-0, going to 5-1 makes sense because Rams equals 51. But even if we're going off just a regular season, he's 4-0 versus the Rams, so he can fall to 4-1. And LA equals 41.
Right. That's what I was looking at.
So that equals, and the only thing that worries about the game that I kind of was worried about is the Falcons could improve to 2-5, and Falcons in full reduction something to 25.
Right. Yeah. Well, you have the same thought as me. I think it looks better. There's a lot of things that line up with Goff's stats and the number 7 since it's week 7. I think the Rams got the better riddle, but there's a couple things there that could go in the Falcons' favor. So
it is. Yeah. I just wanted to get that out there, and also, I just wanted to mention this. I just started my own Patreon channel. If people want to check it out. Jawan T. Rogers. I'm just basically just talking about the code and stuff, not necessarily sports, just about the code and stuff, about Gematria. So.
All right, man. All right. Thanks,
Thanks,
all right,
Zach.
see you. Okay. So anyway, the Saints-Bears game, coming back to it. Trubisky can get his 19th win, and that would keep the Saints at 15 wins versus the Bears on the 15-date numerology. So, and then also the Saints record would be synced up with the Pope, like how they did that last year. So, last week, the Jaguars game? Marone did not get his 19th win versus the Saints. But at the same time, Sean Payton got his 123rd win in Jacksonville. Jaguars 123, so it did make sense that way. Anyway, I think I like Trubisky to get the 19th win here and finally create some sort of narrative where... Because the other thing I wonder is, like, imagine that the Saints win all the games while Drew Brees is out. You know? Could a situation arise where, like, maybe we're just going to let Drew Brees chill the rest of the year. We're rolling with Teddy Bridgewater. So, anyway, Trubisky getting that 19th win. It just feels like the Saints are ready for a loss in the time without Brees. Let me throw some devil's advocate narratives out. 150. So if Nagy lost, he'd be 15-7, like 157, the 37th prime. Chicago's 37. Saints has the 37 connection as well. Week 7 equals 37. Whoops. Could pick up 7th loss in week 7. If the Bears lost, they'd be 1-2 at home as well. Chicago 37, the 12th prime. Saints has the 37 connection. But again, in light of QB riddles usually trumping other riddles on the board, Trubisky getting that 19th win against the Saints, that's the one that really jumps out to me. So, did I write down... bold this just in case. Alright, so best riddle for the Saints, in my opinion, is just to get to 6-1, like 61 the 18th prime, because Bears is 18, but again, hard to go against the QBs. Trubisky gets his 19th win, big win for the Bears. And finally the Saints lose a game without Brees. And actually, maybe we should even look at how it lines up with Drew Brees' birthday, just in case there's a riddle there with that. January 15th to the game. 279th day of his age. Is that prime? Okay. So hard to go against Saints, but Saints are a perfect team for Trubisky to pick up 19th win against. So I'm just thinking more about Nagy's record in light of the fact that Nagy could get that 7th regular season loss. Okay. Yeah, I think Trubisky's stats the best one. The Ravens at the Seahawks, this is a game I feel better about. I like the Ravens falling to 2-4 versus the Seahawks. Seahawks is 24 in the most pure cipher. And I like that Jackson can become 4-3 away. Seattle Seahawks is 43 in the most pure cipher. And if the Ravens lose, they'll also be 4-3 for the season, losing to the Seattle Seahawks 43. And let's see. Caller?
Hey, Zach, I didn't mean to call you back. You know that you said you like Green Bay, correct?
I favor Green Bay, yeah.
The reason I asked, they got an injured person, wide receiver, somebody injured or something?
Devontae Adams.
So he won't make a difference because how they try to fool you. It was the whole week with a lot of story on that on the whole week. So no, I just to let you know if you knew or not. That's all.
Well, now I think about it, Geronimo Allison's probably out too. Oh, well, I guess there's a chance he plays. Devontae Adams they haven't had for a minute. They even beat Dallas without Devontae Adams. So I'll take a look at it real quick.
Okay, I was just checking, you know what I'm saying? Because if you like Green Bay, I got to go along with them tomorrow, try to win some money back them up I can, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, it says the Packers have 7 total players with injury designations for Week 7. Receiver Devontae Adams and safety Darnell Savage are both out. Geronimo Allison is questionable. So is Robert Tonyan and Kenny Clark. And Marquez Valdez-Scantling and cornerback Tony Brown are also questionable. Yeah, they do have a lot of injuries. So,
but you know what though? But I think the Vegas gonna try to fool everybody to put your money on the other side. Probably what probably is too.
Yeah, I still like the Riddle better because everything lines up real nice for Rodgers with the win. So. I'm sticking with it.
Okay, no problem. So I go Green Bay tomorrow, win the pack tomorrow. Then no problem. I'm just asking.
All right, yeah. All right, good luck, man.
Thanks. You too. Thanks, sir.
All right, welcome.
There you go.
Okay. So anyway, a lot lines up here for the Seahawks to win. Ravens become 4-3. Seattle Seahawks 43. Jackson becomes 4-3 away. Ravens fall to 2-4 versus Seahawks. Seahawks 24. And we're just using the most pure cipher, which is the one I like to use. Carroll can get his 95th win with the Seahawks. Baltimore's 95. The only concern I have is that Wilson can get his 38th regular season loss. Ravens is 38. They do play at the Falcons next, though. And that could be one of those any given Sunday games. If Wilson wins this week, which I suspect he will. By the way, Week 7 equals 37, so he can stay on 37 regular season losses. But if he wins this week, he might lose next week at the Falcons. Falcons got the 38 connection too. So I was hoping there was something better up there in Russell Wilson's stats. But I'm not worried about it. Pete Carroll's got the numbers, and everything else pretty much points Seahawks. So I like that game right there. How much of a favorite are they? 3.5-point favorite. Pretty close line. Okay. Eagles at Cowboys. This is Sunday Night Football. And you know what? Let's look up the ref for this game. Because last time the ref was big in the Cowboys game on Sunday Night Football. So I just want to make sure they don't do the same thing to us twice. NFL Zebras. All right, let's see. And remember, going into Sunday Night Football, I'll put out a post as soon as the day games are over on what the home and away records are, because we've seen how the home and away records for the entire league are syncing up with these primetime games at the end of the week. Could be the exact same thing this week. And a part of me wonders if home teams go 7-7 this week for Week 7. I mean, that just seems like it'd be perfect too. So, right now, home teams are 0-1. Here, let's actually just think about that based on what we've talked about today. So, home teams right now are 0-1. I'm thinking the Giants are going to lose. Nobody called in about that game, so I didn't get to hear anybody else's thoughts. But if the Giants lost, home teams would be 0-2. The Colts seem to have a little bit better riddle, tight game. So, if the Colts won, home teams would be 1-2. Bengals look like they might get their first win of the season, so 2-2. If Falcons lost, 2-3. If Bills won, 3-3. If Lions lost, 3-4. If Packers won, 4-4. This Washington 49ers game, I just don't know what to think about it. All right, let's just say... 5, 6. Caller?
Hey, Zach. You know, they were warning a couple weeks ago that the Falcons coach could get fired in the next few weeks. They were saying that right after the Redskins coach got fired.
Right.
So I'm wondering if he's going to face the Seahawks, lose, and then it's kind of like going full circle because he used to
Coach for
the
them.
Seahawks before
Yeah,
he
that's
went
right.
to Atlanta.
That's right.
Now, I'm also with Lamar Jackson's next birthday in a span of 11 weeks, 3 days, like 113. He could go 11-3 in regular season.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about those kind of stats.
Really? They don't work out that well?
No, it's just like week 1. Like, it looked like the Cowboys were going to kill the Giants, and they did. And somebody called in, they're like, but look, Manning's birthday's in 117 days, and he can get his 117th win. And I was like, yeah. And sure enough, he didn't. So, anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I kind of put a spreadsheet together for a few games that I could with my spare time, and that I'll use it as a, observation point. But I feel like, Pete Carroll can get his 128th career regular season win, and Maryland 128. Does that mean anything?
Well, Baltimore's 95. He can get his 95th win with the Seahawks. So I guess you get a Baltimore and a Maryland tribute if you won.
Yeah, and he can get a Seattle all-time 104th win, including the playoffs, and Seattle versus Baltimore Ravens 104. Using the VRS, that is a versus. There's 4 ways to write versus. There's the V, and there's VS, and then there's a rare VRS, and then you just write out versus would be the 4th one.
Okay.
So anyway, sometimes I check out those things and just observe, but
Well,
I don't know. This is a tough one here, I think. But
I like it for the Seahawks, man. The 43s are all over the place. That's the Seahawks number. So,
sweet, dude.
yeah.
Russell Wilson get his all-time 89th win. M&T Bank Stadium, Baltimore, Maryland, 89.
The game's not in Baltimore. The game's in Seattle.
Yeah, but I wonder sometimes if they use the stadium or the arena that the opposing team is in as part of their identity. I don't know.
I think it's more about the stadium the game's in. So.
Okay.
All right.
Well, let's keep watching. All right, thanks,
All right.
man.
Yeah, no problem. See you.
All right, bye.
Okay. Yeah. I like the Seahawks here. I don't feel conflicted about this call. That's really interesting that Carroll can get his 128th win as a head coach and 95th with Seattle, and Baltimore's 95 and Maryland's 128. So. All right. Okay, so I was going to look up I was trying to look up this week 7. I was just thinking about, wouldn't that make sense for home teams to be 7-7 in week 7? Okay. Doesn't have to be that way, but okay. Let's say Colts, Bengals, Bills, that's 3, Packers 4, Titans got a little bit roll 5, Seahawks 6, if the Bears won, that'd be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I don't have Washington in that list. It is really hard for me to pick Washington over the 49ers. The riddle looks better on the surface, but yeah. That would mean the Cowboys would have to lose, assuming we got the right games picked there. Okay, let's see who this referee matchup is for the Sunday night game. Jerome Boger. I forget what's his jersey number. He wears the number 23. That's the 9th prime number. Did we have any 9s on the board? Did we have any 9s anywhere? Wentz is on 9 away wins. And Dak's on 9 home losses. Ref. Jerome Boger, number 23, 9th prime. Wentz could stay on 9 away wins. Dak could stay on 9 home losses. Well, that's all time. Well, he could or pick up his 9th regular season home loss. Okay, Jerome Boger. (113) like Dallas. Also like Eagles. Eagles and Dallas are both 113. Okay, and let's see. Let's see. Home teams have a losing percentage with him this year. All right, let's see. All right, that's when he was a line judge. All right, as a referee, Eagles 1-0, 2-0. 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, 3-3, 3-4, 3-5. That game was against the Cowboys. 4-5. All right, count it one more time. So 1-0, 1-1, lost to the Cowboys. 1-2. 2-2, 2-3, 2-4, 2-5, 3-5, 4-5. So 4-5. All right. Eagles are 4-5 with Boger as ref. 0-1 versus Cowboys. Let's see what it is with the Cowboys. All right, I'm skipping the line judge. Whoops. All right, Cowboys 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, 4-3, 4-4, 5-4. 6-4, 7-4, 7-5, 7-5. Okay, 7-5. National Football League's 85. I'm just thinking about outcomes here. Dallas, Texas is 46. Cowboys could also stay on 7 wins in week 7. Check some real quick. Okay, let's just go over it from the top. I just want to get those ref numbers in there because last time, again, Cowboys were on Sunday Night Football. They put up that stat about how the Saints could get their 12th win with the ref, and SNF was 12, and they ended up getting the 12th win, and I believe they won with 12 points too. Okay, so home teams are 3-3 on Sunday Night Football, which means away teams are 3-3 as well. Dallas Cowboys is 43. Let's see. SNF's 15 like the date numerology, so I wouldn't be surprised if somebody has 15 points at halftime. That'd be either a bunch of field goals or some two-score game with a weird two-point conversion. The Eagles are 51-65 versus the Cowboys in the regular season. When you write out 7, it equals 65, like Philadelphia 65. If they stayed on 65 losses, could happen. The Eagles are 24-35 at the Cowboys. They could get the 25th win. When you write out 7, it's 25. Wentz is 26-20 all-time and in the regular season. He could stay on 20 losses. When you write out 7, it's 20. I guess he could get his 15th loss on SNF. So, it's probably the biggest thing going against Wentz right there. Getting that 15th away loss on SNF. Wentz is 2-3 versus the Cowboys. He's 1-2 at Dallas, so you can make an argument either way. Cowboys is 33. Dallas is 13. Dallas is also 22, but it's that 13's more pure. Peterson, the coach, he could get his 33rd win and stay on 22 regular season losses. Cowboys 33, Dallas with the 22 connection. And if Peterson did win, he'd get his 37th win all time. Week 7's 37. Dak is 36-21 all time. 20-9 at home. He could get his 22nd loss all time. Eagles 22. Stay on 20 home wins all time. 7-20. I guess the other thing to write out is week 7's 37 if you got his 37th all-time win. Dak could, in the regular season, which I'd rather look at, he could either get his 20th loss overall or his 20th home win. If he lost, he'd be 19-9 at home, like 199, the 46th prime. You got Dallas, Texas, 46. 49 could be the number of points in this game. You got the lesser date numerology of 49, and Dallas and Eagles both equal 49, plus NFL's 49. Could be a likely score. Caller?
Hey, Zach, Cowboys could pick up the 69th all-time win in the series against the Eagles tomorrow in 69. Date numerology.
That is true. That is the date numerology. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. All right, man.
And I did see
ahead.
an article about the bad news, the bad luck jerseys the Cowboys were wearing against the Eagles in the NFC Championship. Maybe that might be a hint as well. I don't know. You might want to do a little research on that. I don't know. I just saw it come across the screen.
Who's wearing bad luck jerseys?
Well, they were talking about the blue jerseys that the Cowboys wore when they lost against the Eagles in the 81 NFC Championship.
Huh.
I guess tomorrow's going to be a lot of historical rivalry games in Week 7, and the Eagles and Cowboys are one of them. Don't the Packers play Oakland as well?
Yep, that's right. Yep, Raiders, Packers.
Yep, there's a few more of them, but yep, that's something I noticed as well. But that's all I have.
All right, appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Again, if the Cowboys did win, they'd be 4-3, and home teams would become 4-3 on Sunday Night Football. Dallas Cowboys is 43. I'm noticing the game 7 days after Jerry Jones's 77th birthday, which is also interesting. Let me check that out real quick. That's not what I want. Do it this way. His next win is 266. Big Jesuit number. Next loss is 222. Yeah, they could get the 69th loss all time. I'd rather look at the regular season stats, though. The regular season stats, the 7s sync up more with the Eagles in the regular season. But Wentz getting that 15th away loss on Sunday Night Football, that's hard to go against. There are 15s, again, all over the place. Falling to 1-3 at Dallas could make sense as well. Let me see. Caller?
Hey, Zach, doesn't Philly have 65 regular season losses to Cowboys? Is that right?
They
I'm not
do.
looking at my notes right now.
They do have 65.
Yeah, Texas equals 66.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
And 15 in full reduction, where that 15 has been kicking.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, yeah, good points.
All right, man.
All right, see you. Remember, home teams have a losing record this year. It's true that Texas does equal 15, too, to add on to that 15 narrative for Wentz. You could get the 15th away loss in Texas, on SNF, on a 15-date numerology. That probably is the strongest riddle on the board, but again, this game is a teeter-totter. You've got narratives on both sides. I would really, before picking this game, I would really count up what the home and away teams have done. I think there's a great chance that home teams are 7-7 this week. I wouldn't put this game in your parlays unless you got a strong feeling about it. I'd wait until the day games are over, and then look at what the home and away are at for the week and also for the season. And again, those notes are all here. So up at the top of the post, it's right here. So you got to add it up for the entire week because this was written before Thursday Night Football was played. So home teams are now 41, 51-1 for the entire year. And it just seems like it's too perfect for home teams to go 7-7 in week 7. So I would look out for that. Like, imagine that coming into the game, home teams were, what would it have to be, 6-6. I'd say it'd be more likely that the Cowboys would win and the Jets would lose because we know that if the Jets lose, home teams will fall to 5-3 on Monday Night Football. Patriots 53. So... But yeah, I think the game's a little bit too much of a teeter-totter to call it right now. I'd like to get that extra piece of information. I do think the strongest riddle on the board and the most likely to play, though, is that Wentz 15th away loss. Because, again, we know the SNF numbers matter. And plus you got the date numerology to support it, too. Yeah, because that's like a triple whammy, right? 15 date numerology, Texas 15, SNF 15. So, all right, and then Monday Night Football, Patriots at the Jets. Again, home teams are 5-2 on Monday Night Football. So if the Jets lose, they'll be 5-3. Patriots 53. Makes some sense. If the Patriots win, they'll be 7-0 for the season on a 70-date numerology. And the one thing that could go against the Patriots is right here. They could get the 54th loss in the regular season versus the Jets. This is their last game against the Jets this year, unless somehow they ended up meeting in the playoffs, which doesn't look like it's going to happen. But, well, this is the only opportunity for the Patriots to get the 54th loss versus the Jets in the regular season in the year of Super Bowl 54. And again, Jets equals 54 with the alphabetic order and the reverse alphabetic order. So, it's possible, you know. They ran that commercial prior to the Week 1 games with Joe Namath saying the Jets are going to surprise a lot of people this year. And he says, I guarantee it, just like how he guaranteed Super Bowl III. So the 54's there. And remember, if Brady didn't win, he'd stay on 213 wins in the regular season on Monday Night Football, 2-1-3. So, like, for example, if, say, Monday Night Football comes and home teams are 6-7, you know, I think that would be an indicator that maybe the Jets could get it done. But for now, home teams falling to 5-3 against the Patriots. That's probably where the best riddle is. Caller?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, I was looking at ESPN, and one of the ESPN staff writers, Mike Reese, he wrote Patriots rookie outside linebacker Chase Winovich was fined $7,017 for throwing a football into the stands.
Huh.
And I was like, what? I'm like, well, you know, they go for their 7th win, and then the 17, you know, 7 is a 17th prime number, so
right.
I mean, 17 is the 7th prime number.
Right.
So
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, who would find somebody 17 extra dollars? You know.
Right. Yeah. Looks like a little riddle.
Yeah. So yeah, I just want to throw that at you.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. So Brady's 28-7 versus the Jets. 28's the 7th. Triangular number 7-7. He's born in 77, Brady. You know, if he got his 214th win in numerology, 214 is 7. So 2 + 1 + 4 is 7. That's how that works. So getting the 214th win in Week 7 does make sense. And again, they'd be 7-0 on the 70 date. But again, for these Monday Night Football games, I think it's best that we wait and see. Just because we've gotten the last 2 weeks, we've gotten some great clues heading into the game that helped us make the right pick in Monday Night Football. And it was based on what the records were for the entire week because it fit in with the numbers we were already looking at. So if home teams were 7-6 coming into the game, you know, that would make it look extra good for the Patriots. Patriots are a 10-point favorite in New York. When you write out 10, it's 39, like New York. What was the score of the last game? I think they beat the Jets. I remember they didn't cover. We had the right call on that. Jets to cover. 30-14. Margin is 16. Okay. All right, so let's just go over it again one more time from the top. We saw in Thursday Night Football, 28-17 scored the first touchdowns. 28's the 7th triangular number. 17's the 7th prime. It's Week 7. Looking for those numbers this week. What's up, Jeremy?
Hey, Zach. Did you like the Vikings to beat the Lions?
I like the Vikings, yeah, because Lions can fall to 2-3-1, Minnesota Vikings 2-31, and then Minnesota can get to 5-2. Minnesota and Ford Field are 52.
Okay, yeah, you got what I was going to add. Is that 231 thing?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, that's what I had.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Later.
Okay, so Rams at Falcons. I favor the Rams here because Jared Goff has a whole lot of things that line up with his stats through the number 7 in light of it being week 7. My concern is the Rams could fall to 3-4 because Falcons equals 34, Atlanta Falcons equals 139, the 34th prime, and the Rams lost the Super Bowl in Atlanta on the 34th day of the year. So I wouldn't call this game a one-way street. That 34 thing could haunt. If the Falcons won, they'd be 2-5. Falcons is 25 in the most pure cipher, 34 if you use the rule for S. You might recall those were both big numbers in the Falcons Super Bowl where they lost to the Patriots. So, it could be like some sort of tribute to the Patriots if the Falcons won. Both teams hitting these numbers that played out in the Super Bowls where the Patriots beat both teams. But, again, if the Rams win, they'll get that 48th win in Atlanta. Atlanta 48. They'll stay on 28 losses in Week 7. 28, the 7th triangular number. They'd become 20-20 in Atlanta. When you write out 7, it equals 20. And then Goff can get his 28th regular season win and stay on 17 regular season losses. Both numbers that have a relationship with 7. And McVay can also get his 28th regular season win. Caller?
Hey, Chuck. So, the Madden curse, Mahomes.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to measure from the day that he was announced as the cover athlete, and I got to figure out what day the video game came out because I wanted to see how that syncs up. What were you going to say, Izzy?
Wait, there's more, though. He didn't start to lose games after Madden. They actually gave him the 99 rating. The top rating in the game.
Okay.
Then he started to go downhill.
Okay.
One more thing. I got a feeling the Patriots, Bill Belichick, he has something for the Jets. The Jets were the team that reported him on the Spygate scandal.
Oh, right.
And so, and not only that, in a rare instance, he was traded like a player. I've never seen a coach getting traded to the Patriots. So the Jets were the ones who traded him. So that's something to think about. So I think when the Patriots play the Jets, if he has the chance to run up the score, he'll do it. That's the type of coach Bill Belichick is. That's all I got.
All right. Appreciate it, man.
All
right. See you, Izzy. Okay, so I just wanted to see. So the day that Mahomes was named as the Madden cover athlete. Again, if you guys don't use my blog, there's tons of information here. It was April 25th that he was named as the cover athlete. That's the 115th day of the year. Mahomes is 115, and then Patrick Mahomes II is 100 for the 100th NFL season. So it was a good day for a Madden announcement. I'm waiting for the announcement on John Madden has passed. It was the last time we heard from John Madden. So from that day to the game was 175 days. The day he got injured. Kansas City, Chiefs, John Madden. Well, so far I'm not seeing the sync there. Madden curse is 107, kind of like 17 the 7th prime. What day did the video game come out? What was it? 20? Isn't it a year ahead? Isn't it 2020? Madden 20? Madden 20. Madden 20 release date. August 2nd. Okay. 76 days after, or his 77, or a span of 77 days. What's curse equal? I'm not sure about that. I'm fishing to see if there's anything there. Well, so far it hasn't come to me unless I'm overlooking what the riddle is. It's Madden NFL equal. Yeah, but I guess that is the old Madden curse. So everybody who's on that cover, almost everybody gets hurt. It was his 77th, or it was a span of 77 days from the release, though, in week 7. Normally 7's associated with luck. A span of 11 weeks, the master number. So, to think more about that. Okay, but taking it from the top. Again, the strongest riddle in this game does appear to be through the head-to-head record and Goff. What could haunt, though, is, again, the Falcons getting to 2-5 and the Rams falling to 3-4. That's the concern. Just the most surface-level riddle that there is for this game is the concern. But almost all the other key stats point to the Rams. Dolphins and Bills, again, I think Josh Allen will get to 6-3 at home. Buffalo 63. Like I said earlier, I wish they kept Josh Rosen in there. He was supposed to be the starter at the beginning of the week. But because he had the numbers to lose. Fitzpatrick's numbers aren't as clear. Fitzpatrick could stay on 77 losses in week 7, but could also fall to 3-3 in New York. So I'm going to stick with Josh Allen getting to 6-3 at home. Quarterback home and away records have been good indicators where they're playing, how it lines up with the numbers. And again, Sean McDermott's 51. The Bills can get off to a great start. Their best start in forever, 5-1. So Allen can also stay on 7 losses in week 7. The Jaguars and Bengals. If Minshew loses, he will be 2-4 in the regular season. Bengals is 24 in the most pure cipher. Again, it does equal 33 as well, but I'm going to take the more pure cipher. Bengals 24. And Jacksonville comes in 2-4. If they lose, they'll be 2-5. Paul Brown Stadium's 97, the 25th prime. And that was the other thing. If the Jaguars lose, they would be 4-7 at the Bengals. They'd get their 7th loss in week 7. Ohio's 47. So, and Ohio also equals 16. If the Bengals win, they'd be 1-6. So I'm going to favor the Bengals there. I think they get off the board. The Vikings and Lions, if the Vikings win, they're 5-2. Minnesota's 52. Ford Field's 52. And if the Lions lose, they're 2-3-1. Minnesota Vikings is 2-31. So that's just too much to pass up. There are a few things in Cousins' stats that could go against him. But I like Zimmer getting his 52nd win all time. Ford Field 52 and his team getting to 5-2. It looks like a nice Minnesota ritual. So Stafford has the date numerology in his favor. Cousins does have a few things that could go against him, but I'm just looking past that, and I'm just looking at how nice the 5-2 and the 2-3-1 are. So like the Vikings there. Raiders and Packers. The narrative for the Raiders to upset is the Packers to fall to 5-2 because Raiders is 52. But at the same time, the Packers can become 4-1 at home. Oakland's 41, Green Bay's 41, Rodgers is 41, Bart's 41, Star's 41. If the Raiders lose, they'll be 5-8 versus the Packers. Oakland's 58, Green Bay, Wisconsin's 85. Bart Starr died at age 85. If the Raiders won, they would be 4-4 at the Packers. Packers is 44. If you want to add to that list, Wisconsin's 44. But if you look at the two QBs, Carr can get his 28th away loss. Packers is 28. 28's the 7th triangular number. Goes with week 7. Gruden could get his 46th win or 41st loss. Lambeau Field's 46. Green Bay's 41. Oakland's 41. And I don't know if you can hear my girl in the background, man. She just made a noise. I thought something was wrong with her for a second. All right, Rodgers, if he wins, he'll get his 115th all-time win. Raiders 115. He'd get his 69th home win, 69 date numerology. He'd stay on 65 all-time losses. When you write out 7, it equals 65. He'd also get his 65th home win in the regular season, staying on 17 home losses, 17 the 7th prime. He'd stay on 58 regular season losses, Oakland, and he'd get his 106th regular season win, Oakland, California, 106. So, I mean, it's like almost every single stat lines up. I guess just to throw one devil's advocate out there, if he lost, he'd get his 20th all-time home loss. 7 does also equal 20, but I mean, it's like what? How many things in his favor versus one weaker connection that could go against him? And again, Packers get to 4-1 at home. Both teams got the 41 connection. It's the overlap number. So I like the Packers in this one. Depleted receivers. And it could be a narrative. Let's actually look at what's number 13 on the Packers. It looks like they're trying to make him somebody. So maybe he has a big game. Alan Lazard, or however you say it. Alan Lazard, December 11th. Let's see. It's 313 days after his birthday. 313, the 65th prime. And again, Rodgers was going for his 65th home win. 765. I'm going to just plug in this note about him. I have a feeling he'll be the receiver that gets the action. All right. It is 313 days after Alan Lazard's birthday. Could be Rodgers' main target this week. Okay, so anyway, I like the Packers in that one. The Texans and Colts. Caller pointed out AFC South equals 42. Texans lead the AFC South right now. If they lost this game, Colts would become 4-2 and would take over the lead by a half a game. The Texans are 3-14 at the Colts. They could get their 15th loss at the Colts on the 15-date numerology, plus Colts equals 15 in the most pure cipher. And if the Colts won this game, giving the Texans their 15th loss at the Colts, Watson would get his 7th away loss in Week 7, and Brissett would stay on 7 home losses. So, hard to go against the 7s in Week 7. The Texans' narrative to win is to become 5-2 in Indiana. Indiana equals 52, just like Raiders. They play the Raiders next week, so they could face the Raiders 5-2. So it is a number that seems to show up a lot around the Raiders 52. But it's hard to go against that 15. That seems to be the strongest riddle on the board. Like the caller said earlier, there's 15s everywhere. Brissett could also get his 15th all-time loss, but again, I'd rather just look at his regular season stats as opposed to his all-time. Or never mind, actually, I take it back. Brissett, that is his all-time and regular season stats, because he's never played in the postseason. So Brissett actually could pick up his 15th loss. But that would mess up the 7 thing. If Brissett did lose, he'd be 3-1 versus Houston. Houston's 31 in the most pure cipher. It does have an S, though. Houston's also 40 if they got to 4-0. So, ultimately, though, I think it's better to roll with the 7s. The 7s line up with a Colts win. They're barely the favorite at home. And just so you guys know, when I wrap up this live stream, I'm actually going to take the time tonight and just go through every official and just see if there's anything that screams out with any of the official stats. I was doing more of that last season, and we did have some good reads off the officials. But since there's so many close games this week, I just want to do an extra layer of decoding. Maybe I'll even just do it during the live stream, but I don't know if that's too boring to go through all that. All right, Cardinals at Giants. The media has been hyping the Giants to win this game all week. The numbers say otherwise, though. If Kyler Murray wins, he'll be 3-3-1 in the regular season, like 331, the 67th prime. Kyler Murray equals 67. He'd also become 3-3 in New York. New York's 33. If you want to add to that, Glendale's also 33 where the Cardinals play, which is on the 33rd parallel. And if Shermer lost, he'd stay on 17 wins in Week 7. 17's the 7th prime. He'd stay on 7 wins with the Giants, and he'd get his 39th loss all time. Arizona and New York's 39. So I favor the Cardinals here. If the Giants lose, they'll be 2-5. Giants is 25 in the most pure cipher. Giants is also 34 if you use the rule for S. But I think the media, they're trying to steer the public a certain direction, and that is Daniel Jones is the better quarterback. And he's going to prove it this weekend. So we'll see. We'll see. 49ers at Redskins. I'm guessing everybody's going to let's see how the public money is right now in this game. I'm sure it's all on the 49ers. Let's see. %90 of the money's on the 49ers. And we know why, because bettors are logical. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from this game this week because I'm having trouble imagining the 49ers losing this game. But the numbers are there to support a Redskins upset. If the 49ers lose, they stay on 17 wins in Week 7, 17 the 7th prime. At the same time, the 49ers could stay on 10 losses in the 29th game, 29 the 10th prime. 49ers could stay on 7 losses at the Redskins in Week 7. Jimmy G, he could stay on 7 away wins with a loss. Remember, I call Washington, D.C. the land of 77. D.C. equals 77. It's on the 77th meridian. We just saw the Nationals give the Cardinals their 77th loss of the season to eliminate them on the day leaving 77 days left in the year. So, and then Shanahan, you could make an argument for him to get his 16th win at FedEx Field, which equals 53 the 16th prime. You can also make an argument for Keenum to get his 28th win, 28 the 7th triangular number. He'd become 15-15 at home on the 15-date numerology. 49ers equals 28. So, and if Callahan, the new coach of the Redskins, won, he'd be 17-17 in the regular season. I might consider the Redskins would be a nice parlay multiplier if you did one of those small parlays and had the Redskins in there and they won the game. They'd be a big payout, but I don't know, I'm having trouble believing in the Redskins. Unless they're going to turn the corner with the new coach, if that's what it's all about. So 7 equals 20. If Callahan won, he'd be 2-0 with the Redskins, kind of like 20. So, I mean, there's more things based on what we look at that do line up for the Redskins here. It's just, I think everybody understands why I'm doubting even what, is before our eyes. So, okay. If I did take the Redskins, though, I mean, I'd definitely take the points. Okay. Chargers and Titans. Again, either team can be 3-4. Tennessee's 34. If the Chargers won, they would get their 28th win versus the Titans. 28's the 7th triangular number, Week 7. If the Chargers lost, they'd get their 15th loss on the 15-date numerology. Tennessee's also 47, the 15th prime. And Rivers, again, he could be 54 wins or 54 losses after this game. He's 53-53 right now. Tennessee Titans is 54. And if Rivers did lose, he'd be 7-2 versus the Titans on the day leaving 72 days left in the year. He'd become 2-2 at Tennessee. Titans is 79, the 22nd prime. Chargers is also 79. So, again, I think more is pointing against Rivers. And Lynn, you can make an argument either way for Lynn. Tannehill is starting this week for the Titans. He's 42-46, which is tricky because Chargers is 43-47. We do have that 15 date numerology. 47 is the 15th prime. If he did get the win, though, it would be his first win with the Titans. Titans is 43 like Chargers. And we've seen that number show up for the Titans a couple times already this year. So Ryan Tannehill also sums to 72. He's making his debut on the day, leaving 72 days left in the year. And if Tannehill won, he'd be 4-1 versus the Chargers. Chargers 41. Let's see. So personally, I'm just gonna, again, the Titans have been a weird team this year. I do think a little bit more lines up for him in this game, but I think it's probably better to sit this one out. Because, I mean, if the Chargers win, the head-to-head record could make some sense, getting that 28th win in Week 7. So, Saints and Bears, it's hard to go against the Saints the way they're playing. If Saints win, they're 6-1, like 61 the 18th prime. Bears is 18 in the most pure cipher. If the Saints didn't win, they'd stay on 15 wins versus the Bears on a 15-date numerology. And let's see. If Trubisky wins, he gets his 19th win. Saints is 19. And again, I think that's the top stat just out of everything here. There's not a whole lot that lines up, but I think that's the top stat. Trubisky getting the 19th win versus the Saints. Again, it just feels like the Saints are due for a loss without Breeze. I did feel that way last week too, but I like that the QB can get the 19th win because, again, it's most of the riddles are QB driven. So, and like we talked about, if the Saints lost, they'd be 5-2, 58 days before Pope Francis's birthday. Pope's 52, Pope Francis is 58, so that would make sense too. Last year we documented the syncs with the Pope and the Saints. Again, on the Pope's 82nd birthday, Saints equals 82. The Saints became 12-2. Pope Francis is also 122. So similar type thing here. All right, and then Ravens at Seahawks. I like the Ravens falling to 4-3. Seattle Seahawks is 43. Lamar Jackson would also become 4-3 away as a starter. And the Ravens would fall to 2-4 versus the Seahawks. Seahawks 24, Seattle Seahawks 43. Plus, if Carroll wins, he'll get his 95th win with the Seahawks. Baltimore's 95. And he'd also get his 128th win as a coach. Maryland's 128. So that looks good to me. I like the Hawks. And the Cowboys and Eagles, again, Sunday Night Football. I'd really wait until the day games are played to get that last clue because it could be all about the home team records this week. Do home teams finish 7-7 in Week 7? Again, they began the week. What did they begin the week again? They began the week 41-50-1. So if home teams did go 7-7, it'd be 48-57-1. There's something to think about in that. I guess another thing you could think about is if home teams won 8 games, they'd have 49 wins, which has a square root of 7. If 8 total home teams won this week, it's another mathematical sync that could make some sense. 49 home wins after Week 7. NFL's 49. So, okay. But yeah, by the end of the day games, we should be able to line up how that might work out. It's been that way the last 2 weeks. Again, if Cowboys won, home teams would be 4-3 on Sunday Night Football, and the Cowboys would be 4-3. Dallas Cowboys is 43. Probably makes a little bit more sense for the Cowboys to be 4-3 than the Eagles. If the Eagles lost, they'd be 1-3 away. Dallas is 13, but it is also 22. Eagles is 22-31. So, but again, we saw that Wentz, if Wentz lost, he'd get his 15th away loss, and SNF's 15. You got 15 date numerology, and Texas is 15. So that's probably the strongest riddle on the board without knowing what the home and away team records are for the week prior to the game. Wentz's best case scenario is to become 3-3 versus the Cowboys, because Cowboys is 33. At the same time, though, he could become 1-3 at Dallas, where Dallas is 13 in the most pure cipher. So we saw the Cowboys have a winning record with Boger, and the Eagles have a losing record. It's the head ref. And again, Patriots at Jets. Most likely outcome here is that the Jets lose and home teams fall to 5-3 on Monday Night Football. Patriots is 53. But again, I'm going to wait until we have all of our games played through Sunday to see if it gives us one last stat that can tuck it away. Jets' best case scenario is to give the Patriots their 54th loss in the regular season. It's their last game against them in the regular season this year. You're a Super Bowl 54, Jets 54. And do realize that if the Jets don't win, the Patriots would stay on 54 all-time losses, which could also be the riddle. But if Brady didn't win this game, he'd stay on 213 regular season wins on Monday Night Football, 2-1-3. Caller?
Hey, hello, Zach. Can you confirm for me if regarding the Patriots game, are they 27-6 away?
Oh, at the Jets? Let me see.
Yeah, the Patriots and the Jets game. Because if they are 27-26, if you type in the initials for the ref, which is Sean Kushuli, SH, it equals 27 in both ciphers.
I got the Patriots as 29-29 in the regular season at the Jets, tied.
Okay, also, well, I guess I got that wrong then. If you type Jets, ESPN, prime time, you get 54 two ciphers.
That is true. ESPN is 54, so that is one other thing that could go their way. Yeah?
Yeah, now if you type 7 in a row, it equals 55 for the 54. The Patriots are 65-54 all time. They could get their 55th loss all time. And with the 54 ciphers, they could probably get their 54 loss in regular season, I guess. That's all I have.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks.
I'm just going to check real quick to make sure my stats are right for the Patriots record at the Jets, since he had something different. But I'm pretty sure I'm correct. Let's see. Okay, so you can go like this. You hit this win-loss column, and then you can click at, and then it puts them in order for you. So at the Jets, they got 29 losses, right? So we can just see it right there because it's all ordered in a row. So they got 29 losses there. And then this is a postseason game when it's bolded. So they have 30 wins if you count the postseason, 29. So yeah, they're 29-29 in the regular season. So that is right. But that's the quick way to do it. You gotta hit the win-loss column first and then the at column. Otherwise it'll screw up. You have to do it in that order. Okay. Again, the Patriots have a chance to become 7-0 on the 70-date numerology in that game. And it's also a 16-date, 53 the 16th prime if the Patriots stayed on those 53 losses. But I'm going to wait until we have all of our Sunday games to make a call on that one. Waiting for Sunday games to conclude for more clues. Okay, but there are a couple narratives there that could spell an upset. So let me check in with the chat real quick. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Jerry Jones too. That game week 7 is 7 days after his 77th birthday, which is interesting. It's a lot of sevens. Okay. All right, just checking in with the chat. You guys are talking about the baseball game. All right. Okay. All right, you guys, what I'm going to do is keep your eye on the stats. I'm going to go through all the refs and just see if there's any major clues with any of the refs for some of these tighter games. And I will plug all that information in. I'll add a little area that's bolded that says ref and just whatever ref stat I dig up. So we can leave it there for now. I'm not going to do a live stream tomorrow, but I will put out notes in the morning for hockey, and if there is a baseball game, I'll put out the notes for ALCS Game 7. Remember, if there is a game tomorrow, it'll be Garrett Cole's 43rd day of his age. Astros is 43, and it's also 20. He could win his 20th straight game on the 20th, so see if that even happens. But definitely get out those notes tomorrow morning, and we'll leave it there. So good luck, everybody, and again, stay tuned for the notes tomorrow morning. Also, keep your eye on the football notes because I'm going to add some more stuff to them. So we'll leave it there. Until next time.